All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz, Monday, February 13th, 2023. Great Super Bowl last night. Game came down to the end. I know all a lot of people are talking about is the holding call there in the last minute and a half or so, but it was a great game. Eagles controlled the first half, and then the Chiefs came back out and basically controlled most of the second half. So great game. But I'm joined by, or I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin or poor Jamal. How's it going?
Jamal only has one thing to say. Let the sons of bitches play. I mean, I get it. Okay. Technically, was it a hold? Sure it was. Hell, he even said it was a hold. But it wasn't like a drastic hold. It wasn't I don't think a hold that changed the outcome of that play because he missed it by quite a bit. And that ball was almost well out of bounds the way he threw it. Blue, stop it. Yes, Frankie C's on the show, but we can show him some love. But no, man, I really felt like, man, that call changed the whole complexion of that game at the end, right? If they don't get that hold, they don't get that fresh set of downs. We're not probably talking some overtime, but it was a hold, so you can't fault them for it. But I just didn't like the ticky-tackness of some of those fouls that were in there.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is whether you want them to call it or not, I do believe it was a hold, but I just don't like the people who are saying they shouldn't have called it because it was the last minute of the game. No, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. You call it. If you wouldn't call it in the first quarter, don't call it in the fourth quarter. But if you would call it in the fourth quarter, you call it in the fourth quarter. You can't say, "Oh, they shouldn't have called that because it's this time of game." No, that you're giving too much even more. That's going to cause more problems. Putting more judgment in the calls than what's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, man, hey, much credit
and there was other calls in that game that were close. I mean, the one where Sanders caught the ball and then it would have been a fumble and a touchdown. They end up calling that.
Oh, yes. I
mean, that was real close.
Yeah.
I mean, there was other calls in that game that was real close. I know the way that call ended. Yes, it was last minute and a half, and it kind of sealed the deal that they weren't going to get the ball back. But I just hate that that's all everybody's talking about after we watched a really good football game.
Well, I think it's just everybody's talking about it because of the gravity of it. I think had it been anything else, we wouldn't be talking about it. But just because the gravity of that call, I mean, that changed everything. Honestly, it really did. The only thing that could have screwed that up for the Chiefs is a field goal kicker, bouncing another one off the upright like he did earlier in the game. That would have been the only thing, right? But hey, it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, man, hey, these Chiefs played a hell of a second quarter. I mean, what, they only had one incomplete pass the entire quarter? I mean, it's just ridiculous, Look at that, man. Look at this dude coming in here. Like you Frank Poncherello.
What up, man?
Where's your boy at, man? I thought Greg Broderick was going to be on here this morning. He must have got held up in traffic. Hey, this is special.
Oh, here he is.
Look at that. Hey, I asked for Greg, and I get Greg.
What's going on, everybody? We the champs. Let's go.
Hey, listen, Gonzo said it was a bullshit call at the end, and it should have gone.
Whoa. That's not what
Hey, seriously. Hey, Greg, he said that bullshit cheating ass over there.
Go back and watch the tape, Greg. That's not what Gonzo said.
Everybody wants to focus on that play. Here's the deal with that. It was a hold. Let's get that right.
Was a
hold. Oh, it was a hold because the guy that did the hold came out and said it was a hold.
Yeah, he said it was a hold. So, and that was a makeup call for the hold they should have called in the second quarter and did not. And not only that, Carl Cheffers owed us that for all the years he done screwed over the Chiefs. All the years he screwed over the Chiefs. From 2016 to yesterday. So thank you, Carl Cheffers. You made up for all the bullcrap for the past 5 years.
Well, the biggest thing about that second half was not only because of how well the Chiefs played, But honestly, that second half, the Eagles defense didn't look quite as dominant as they did that first half as well. I mean, they were getting outbeat on a few plays out there, you know. I mean, so target that on the Eagles defense. But let me ask you this. They did make history last night. Even though they got the loss, hey, he ran for 3 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts broke history for the most rushing touchdowns in a Super Bowl by a quarterback. So I got to tell you, man, Greg, I don't know how you felt about it. Like I said, hey, I didn't know. I didn't really care who won at the end of the game. The game was so good. It was so close. You had 2 MVP caliber performances by each quarterback. I mean, come on. It was great.
It was.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Jalen Hurts.
Hurts did put up an MVP caliber performance with over 300 yards passing, no interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns in a passing.
Yeah, I will say.
I didn't say anything
You
about
better give that love.
I will say that Jalen Hurts, that was the closest thing to what Vince Young did against USC in that 2006 national title. I mean, that's what I was thinking of. Like, man, like he can't be stopped. And so in the second half, the defense did much better as far as not giving up too many big plays. I know Snead gave up that one, but
they did a better job getting off the field.
Yeah, they did a better, especially third down, and that was the key because the first half it seemed like Philly converted every third down, and I'm like, God, this is the worst third down defense we've had, the worst third down defense we've played all season, and
I'm just gonna go out and say it. I'm just gonna go out and say it. Congratulations, Greg! You are World Series world champions once again. It must feel really good to be a two-time Super Bowl champ in the last 4 years. But let's be realistic, guys. They shot something up on Patrick Mahomes' ankles in the halftime because there's no way that this man's going to get his ankles hurt at the end of the second quarter and then come out in the third quarter.
Oh, no, I guarantee they put something in that ankle.
He said they didn't shoot him. I'm like, well, whatever CBD cream he used, hey, good. That's good.
Greg,
whatever CBD cream he used.
That. I want to see the trap marks in that ankle. That's all I'm saying.
No,
but it was gutsy.
Hats off to Kadarius Toney for that number one, that punt return and the touchdown that he got. Hey, that Kadarius Toney pickup you guys got from New York proved to be pretty damn important, I thought.
Yes, very. He came up big. Juju, he made he made some good catches too out there. Kelsey was Kelsey, and Pacheco was awesome, too. And
I don't know what this was Pacheco at halftime, but the Pacheco we saw in the third quarter and the fourth quarter was not the Pacheco we saw in the first two.
Well,
exactly.
A lot of that in the first half, Jay, if you think about it, the Chiefs' offense wasn't on the field in the first half.
Yeah, we weren't on the field at all. Yeah, we only had the ball twice. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is
the
worst.
Hey, hats off to those Eagle wide receivers and some of those catches they were making, especially the one I believe it was AJ Brown, where he had 2 Chiefs defenders on him, and he still hauls in that. I mean, and the way that Hurts threw that ball, I mean, it was only where he could get. I mean, it was just a beautiful, beautiful play. And Hurts even said, I threw that ball up and said, hey, make your best guy take him out. And it was great, man. Like I said, and of course, like I said, that one play where was it Travis Kelce was all by himself in the end zone and walks it in. I mean, yeah. And again, Kadarius Toney, he could have scored on that last touchdown, but he wound up taking the knee rather than walking it in. I mean, again, the Chiefs were really playing smart football in that second half.
Jay, I'm glad
smart.
that you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because that play reminded me of the Giants and Patriots in Super Bowl 46, where Ahmad Bradshaw, he did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And he had a wide open. He ran the ball straight up the middle, nobody around him, and he took the knee at the very 1 yard line. That is the way you play Super Bowl football.
But it's also how you play selflessly, Frankie. And those two guys, honestly, man, you can get the accolade, right? Because who doesn't want a Super Bowl touchdown? But the fact that he gave it up and took one for the team because it was for the betterment of the team, those are why Super Bowl teams are Super Bowl teams. Just like Frankie said in the Patriots game, as well as this game, guys sacrificing the betterment of their career for the sake of winning the game. And I mean, that's what it takes to win.
Well, I'll tell you what, he didn't get the touchdown. He didn't get the Super Bowl touchdown he wanted, but guess what? He got the ring, and he's got the record for the first punt return for the longest yards. Nobody has ever ran that long in a punt return in Super Bowl history. He could have got both the punt return and the touchdown, but he was stopped at the 5-yard line. But he's got the record now, so he's on the books of Super Bowl history.
Exactly. But it's a better storyline. It's even a more memorable storyline when he did that versus going in for the touchdown. He goes in for the touchdown. We don't care. It is whatever. But the fact that he did that, I mean, it really elevates the whole storyline. And people are going to remember that. I'm more apt to remember that than him just getting the touchdown.
I'm honestly just glad that we didn't get a Super Bowl that we've been getting for the past couple of years.
Absolutely.
Tampa Bay blowing out Kansas City a couple of years ago. We seen last year the Rams overtaking the Bengals. This Super Bowl was literally one of the best Super Bowls that I have seen in many years. It was insane. Both teams going back and forth. Patrick Mahomes showing that he's still that dude that can be down 10 points and come back. He done it twice against the 49ers 4 years ago. And then he comes back 4 years later and he does it against Jalen Hurts and a red-hot Eagles team that didn't show out or didn't show up in the second half. Like, where the hell did they go? Andy Reid went into the locker room and came back out and said, yo, I am not losing to the team where I win my first Super Bowl with and we lost. It's not happening. Patrick Mahomes, we're going to shoot this up in your ankle. You're going to come out there. Travis Kelce, you're going to do what you do. Listen, we're going to take over. And that's exactly what Kansas City did. And you know what? They're world champions for it. And I congratulate you, Greg. You're finally a champion again.
Yeah.
It must feel great. I haven't been, for me as a fan of many teams, I have not felt a championship around my waist in a long time since COVID season of 2020. And it's really irking me that you're a goddamn champion and I'm not.
It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back on top. The second time in 4 years. Patrick Mahomes, how good he is. He beat Joe Burrow on one leg. He beat Jalen Hurts on one leg. That's the greatness of a Pat. And this is the beginning of many. There's going to be many more after this.
I'm going to disagree a little bit. He beat the defense. No. Hey, he
beat Eagles. He did not
beat that quarterback because that quarterback was too freaking good to be beat. He beat that defense. And I got to admit, and that's a compliment. That's a compliment to on one leg to beat that caliber of a defense. And by the way, hats off to your offensive line for Kansas City because that battle was one of the trenches and gave Patrick Mahomes time to do what Patrick Mahomes needed to do. And Pacheco to get those runs. The offensive line had to do great things. So hats off to your offensive line, honestly. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm buying everybody Rolex watches on that offensive line and saying, I salute you.
Hats off to everybody's the defense as well. Hats off to the defense as well because in the first half, that defense did not show out. They looked like, the defense that everybody was honestly saying that they were. Greg, I catched your show 2 days ago on Red Kingdom, and you said it yourself that you said it yourself that everybody was looking at your defense and your secondary like they weren't that good of a defense to be in the position that they're in. They weren't looking like that in the first half, but some way, somehow, Steve Spagnuolo turned them around and said, "Listen, we're gonna play lockdown defense and we're gonna stop these guys." It was really a smart play on the Kansas City Chiefs defense to step up in the second half when they needed to.
And a couple of things I took away from this game, Greg. I don't know if you took the same two things I took away. I said the keys to my games was. And I don't mean to say it, but the Chiefs' secondary is exploitable. And I think in that first half, you saw just how much the Eagles were able to exploit that secondary. However, in that second half, it became the Eagles' deep secondary that was exploitable because they missed several key routings that they should have been paying attention to. They didn't do it, and they got burnt on a couple of them. And so, again, I think the one to Kadarius Toney was a big one. I think the one to Jason or Travis Kelce being left unattended was a big. There were several key blown coverages or blown missed assignments on that Eagles deep secondary that second half. So I think the X factor of that game wasn't that the one offense beat the other offense. It was that one defense that let them down. That defense was the X factor in that game. As far as the Chiefs had great defense, but the Eagles really did not. And I think the Eagles defense was the X factor as to why they lost that game. More specifically, the secondary.
I think the X factor was Andy Reid. Because if you look, the reason them guys were wide open was because of the scheme. He would bring them in, and he'd get that defense to start moving to the right, and then the guy would go back to the left. So I think the X factor more than the blown coverages was the adjustments that Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and that coaching staff made in that second half.
Chris, I'm glad you said that.
Hey, I'm just saying, I'm thinking of a number between 1 through 5. Could you imagine what that number would be on my hand as an explanation?
Chris, I'm glad that you bring that up because Andy Reid did that same play on both of the back-to-back red zone drives. After Tooney came back and he ran it 5 yards, they did it back-to-back on 2 different tries in different sides of the field. That's like mind-blowing that you got the Eagles, they don't see the lineup. Like it was clear as day. When I looked at it, I'm like, they're running the same play but opposite sides of the field. I seen him. I seen the guy cut in and then go right back. I'm like, wow, that's just mind blowing that the Eagles did not see that.
But how much of an X factor though was Nagy on the defensive side of coaching? How much was
we're not going to talk about Matt Nagy. Let's not talk about Matt Nagy.
You can say it. Look, nobody like Nagy as a head coach. We all know that. but you can't because he's a coordinator. Look, like Josh McDaniels is a damn good offensive coordinator. I'm not
very good
as a head coach. I look the same thing at Nagy. Nagy is a horrible head coach, but he's really good at being a coordinator, and that's what
But he's not their coordinator.
He's not a defensive coordinator, Jay.
He's not the defensive coordinator.
No, he's the offensive
guy.
He's the offensive consultant. Yeah.
He's the offensive guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Learn your damn coordinators, God.
No, I said, but since we all believe that this is EB's last game, then Matt Nagy will be the coordinator next season. But Andy and EB
downhill.
No, he's good.
No dynasty.
He's good.
No. Stop it right now. It's not happening with him.
He's got Matt Nagy has Patrick Mahomes. He'll be all right. If Peyton Manning can make Adam Gase look good, then Patrick Mahomes can make Matt Nagy look good. But if this was the last one for EB here, it was a great second half by him and Andy. They had outscored him at one point. It was 21-3.
Why would he go to Kansas City though as a coordinator? I mean, if he's on a Super Bowl winning style team as a coordinator, why would he want to go someplace else and just do a lateral move as a coordinator? Why wouldn't he just want to make the next move as a head coach? I don't understand why he would want to.
I don't know why either.
Or something.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I know him and Pat have gotten to it a couple of times before.
Yeah, but what coordinator?
I had hope.
Never does that.
Yeah. I had hope. I mean, I would love for him to stay, but I think his time has kind of ran its course here, and I think he's. I'm pretty
sure they gave him like an option that says, you have one good season with us, get us to a playoff or something, and we'll guarantee you like a head coaching position in the following year, most likely.
Yeah. So. I would love for him to stay. I know Washington is trying to get him. So if he goes there, God bless EB, because he's gonna need. He's gonna take a whole lot over there.
I'm gonna be real with you.
You know what? But I will say this: it would be good for him to get out from underneath Andy Reid and go someplace else. Because if he could prove to be successful at a different location, then it would dispel the rumor that he needed, Andy Reid in order to be successful. Right. There was a lot of there was a lot of rumors where we couldn't decide who was calling the plays, not calling the plays. So I think he needs to go someplace else. Because if he's successful like he is there someplace else, I don't know how you don't give him a head coach job somewhere.
Yeah, true. That's true. But it feels good to be back on top. This is ring number 2, and there's gonna be some more coming. There's gonna be some
Stop
more.
it!
My God!
There's gonna be some more.
Hey, there's a Philly sports guy out there. hey, listen, there's Philly sports guy out there just crying in his Cheerios right now that his Phillies lost, his Eagles lost. Everybody's just losing on him.
Well, I'm pretty sure Greg's seen it because I went on Philly sports guy's TikTok and I shared it on the group chat for a reason. I think he really was crying, Jay. We didn't get.
Well, he was so hyped, and all of his things. He was so hyped. And then I just like seeing when you get to the pinnacle of hypeness, and then you just fall, like a brick, like a brick with gravity. Because you got to admit, I know for a fact that first half he was riding high, especially in that double-digit lead. He was riding high, and I know somewhere along that third and fourth corner, and probably more specifically at that holding call, he just had to have been deflated as all hell. I know that feeling to be deflated like that. I know what that feels like.
I was like that during the first half, and it took
when Frankie was giving you all that hate. Don't be coming out here if y'all lose. Saying it's because of Patrick Mahomes getting hurt. And Greg's like, when we win this, Frankie's going to be priority number 1.
But yeah, it was a great halftime show, and halftime show. It was a great Super Bowl, and now Patrick is top 3 all time. Let's start.
Oh, absolutely. And I think he's just solidifying, man. By the way, I just want to point out, though, that not only were both quarterbacks, which is amazing, African-American, but secondly, that both, and probably even most importantly, is that both quarterbacks were from Texas.
Oh, my God. Here we go with the Texas shit.
I just want to point that out, man. Hey, listen, Texas got some good product out there, and you guys are tapping in on it.
We love Texas. We love Texas. We love Texas. But
good product. Texas got good product. It just skipped Jay and his generation.
No, it hit my generation, but it definitely skipped me. That'll agree on.
I just had a phone call from the mayor, so that's why I had to back out for a minute. But I just wanted to say, I know EB's getting his little promotion in Washington and stuff like that. But I think it's been long overdue that Steve Spagnuolo needs to get a head coaching job.
Yes.
He really deserves to be a head coach. The man he's been the defensive coordinator for so many years. He's literally coached under some of the greatest coaches, Tom Coughlin, Andy Reid. I think this man deserves to be a head coach, if not now, sometime within the next 3 to 4 years.
Yep, he's won 3 Super Bowls now. 3.
That's crazy.
So there's no way that he shouldn't get a head coaching spot.
And he wasn't the defensive coordinator when they beat and Giants beat the Patriots when the Patriots were undefeated.
Yes, Chris, that's what I just
said. Yes, he was. 2007.
I said Tom Coughlin's name, Chris, you little fucking asshole. Why would you bring that up?
Hey, let me ask you this. Hey, real quick. Hey, so it looks like the offensive coordinator from the Eagles is going to be taking the head coaching job now of the Colts. By the way, I think it's a good hire for you, Chris. And secondly, it looks like Gannon's going to be possibly going to the Cardinals. So it looks like the Eagles are going to be losing their offensive and defensive coordinators. Where do they go from here now?
And Jay, that's not the only thing though. They got like 22 free agents on that team as well. So that Eagles team can look a lot different next year than what it did this year.
And not only that, Chris, they're going to be under the cap because they don't have money. They're lucky that they got Devontae Smith on the rookie deal. They're lucky their most money is going to have to go to Jalen Hurts after the performance he's shown this year. You still got Goddard, who's under your contract still. You still got A.J. Brown, who you took on the contract from the Tennessee Titans. So that's good. But the other people around him, like the offensive line to protect Jalen Hurts, that's going to be a little mix up right there because you got some of those people in free agency.
Defense has a lot of free agents too.
Jason Kelce, he's one of the greatest centers to play it. He might retire, guys. He might retire.
Yeah.
So
how crazy would that be if Jason Kelce said, "Screw the Eagles," went over to the Chiefs and looked at his brother dead in the eye and said, "Let's run it back, baby."
No, I don't think.
Well, we have a pretty good center ourselves in Creed Humphrey. So
hey, listen, you don't have Jason Kelce. You know you want Jason Kelce like it was yesterday. Come on now.
No, we'll take Creed. We'll take Creed. He's good.
Greg's sitting there like, Jay, which center won last night?
Hey, well, yeah, but come on, man. That's neither here nor there. I'm telling you, man, that's really let them down. Damn it, let them down.
I mean, I would say right now my top three quarterbacks: Brady, and then Joe, and then Pat. I mean, that's my top three. I mean, until now, whenever Pat gets up to 4 and all that, then we can have that talk about who's number one.
I'm glad that you say that because once Pat gets 4, then that's when you can start putting him in that GOAT conversation. All right, Don't do it now. Don't do it now, Greg.
Well, that was no different than when they asked him. Hey, remember when they asked Patrick Mahomes, "Hey, are you guys forming a dynasty?" And he said, "Hey, it's only 2. We haven't got to that dynasty talk yet." So I like how Pat is staying humble.
Yet.
No, you want him to stay humble like that because then he's going to be hungry to keep fighting for more and more. So
because Jay, if you look at it, he won 2 Super Bowls in the past 4 years. If you look at what Tom Brady and what the Patriots did in the beginning, they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, winning back to back. Same thing going back to the Cowboys when they had Troy Aikman. They won 3 Super Bowls in the 4 years. So that's what really you look at and you make a dynasty. I tell you this right now: if Patrick Mahomes goes back to the Super Bowl and win next year, then they could start talking about a dynasty in this.
Oh yeah, but let me ask you this: it's, again, whether it's a dynasty or not a dynasty, as long as they keep winning Super Bowls, like you said, if Patrick Mahomes gets to that 4 Super Bowls, you're definitely going to start putting them in the Tom Brady, beginner conversation at least.
Yeah, we can start having it. Yeah.
God, you guys got an excellent quarterback. Hey, what state was he in front of? He's from Texas. That's right. I forgot.
We love Texas. Kansas City loves Texas. Man. We love y'all.
No, man, but hey, congratulations. I got to be honest with you, man. What a better guy, man. I mean, even if you don't like Patrick Mahomes as a player, he's just such a great guy. Like, he's so likable. It's nice. Crazy.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid is likable too.
I'm really sorry for Jalen Hurts. Like, he put it all out there last night.
He played a great game. He played a great game.
And his defense and his offensive linemen, like, they just let him down at the very second half of the game. Like, it's just embarrassing. I feel so bad for him. The future is realistically, the future is bright for Jalen Hurts.
But I will say this, and I think you guys can agree. I think Jalen Hurts definitely made a name for himself in terms of, in that what tier of quarterback he should be in.
I will say, Jay, I will say this: what Jalen Hurts did last night is what Baltimore envisioned Lamar Jackson doing.
That's it. Yep. That's it. Yep.
It's probably what the Cardinals envisioned Kyler Murray to be like also.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Hurts played a great game, but we can't forget that he also had that fumble that led to 7 points for the
Well,
Chiefs.
yeah,
that is what
that was the
changed
difference
game.
in the
Can't blame
game.
it all on their defense.
I'm not blaming it all on defense, but hey, there's a good amount that I can put on that
They
defense.
got outcoached in the second half. To me, was the big thing.
And that was the ultimate reason why I picked Kansas City to win the game, was because Andy Reid's been there, done that. He's going up against Nick Sirianni, a second-year head
Don't
coach.
come in here with your bullshit. Don't be coming in here with your bullshit. You know you went for the Eagles. Don't try and switch up now a day after.
Hey, I had the Chiefs
I had
all the
the
time.
Chiefs. I've said the Chiefs on Chris's show. I've said the Chiefs to Jay. I've said the Chiefs to Greg. I've called the Chiefs for a while. And I said I was going
but I got all the private receipts where you said fuck Greg and fuck Gonzo. Do I need to put those?
Hey Jay, I want my
receipts out there.
Yeah, I want my $100.
Listen, I don't mind snitching because snitching gets.
Hey Jay, I want my $100 from that bet we made before the Super Bowl too.
Oh,
that's right.
On the Chiefs. You originally wanted to say 25, and then I said double or nothing, and then I said, you know what? Let's make it around $100.
Hey, listen. You're gonna have to take it every 3-month increments because they only give $25 out for blood donations. I can only donate every.
Hey, I'm good with 3-month increments.
You're gonna have to take installment. You're gonna put me on an installment plan.
Hey, that pays for a tank of gas for me.
Jay, we're in baseball season. Jay, just double that 100 for baseball season.
Double.
Shit. Man, I don't know. If I lose that shit, man. Hey, look, I might be able to hide $100. I don't know if I can hide $200 from Mel now. Hey, she got
faith. No faith in your Astros.
Oh no, I got faith. Money? Hey, listen, it's not about faith. It's just about protecting the marriage and the sanctity of it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. That's facts right there.
Hey, I could take a loss and take ribbon from you. If I take a loss of $200, hey, there's no telling. Hey, look, she might start pulling Jeffrey Dahmer, and they'll be finding my body parts and all kinds of vats of acid somewhere. I don't know. Man, honestly, and like Frankie, we were talking about it, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, Greg. Hey, I picked the Eagles, man, and I know Frankie picked the Eagles, and Gonzo was right. Gonzo was that joint. He picked the Chiefs. I just did not want to hear Philly sports guy, and that was the good thing about it. If I was going to lose, I look at the bright side because now I don't got to listen to Philly sports guy all over Facebook talking to his shit. Now he's going to be quiet.
And Jay, I said it was going to come down. It was going to come down to whoever.
Now we all said that though. You said 3 points, but we all knew it was going to be 3 points.
I had to score 27-24, so there's more points scored than what I thought would be scored, but.
Oh no, I knew it was going to be 3 points.
I'm gonna cover up what Jay said. I just want to cover up what Jay said. The reason, and Greg, don't try to knock us down. The reason why we picked the Eagles is because it was a win-win for us. If the Eagles win, we feel good because we picked the Eagles to win. But if the Eagles are to lose, which they did, we will feel better because we can laugh at the Eagles Nation face. Right? There's no more fly, eagle, fly right now.
Yeah,
it's more cry, eagle, cries right now. That's what it is. So it's like, it's a win-win for us. So congratulations, Greg. You're a Super Bowl champion. Too bad to your Eagles fans. You're crybabies. Cry, eagle, cry. Maybe next year.
I will tell you right now, hey, if the eagle was not our representation of our country, I would have had a nice little eagle on a rotisserie over a nice campfire for all those guys.
AP, I went golfing with the mayor on Saturday. We talked a little bit of the Super Bowl while eating our $150 steaks.
Oh,
and then
man.
he actually sent me over to the New York Giants in MetLife, and he wanted me to interview some of those Giant players. And I said, hell no, I hate every single one of them. I don't want to do that.
What? Hey, but you know what the difference was? Hey, while Frankie was eating the $150 steaks, they charged him half price because they only cut up in half. I got the Evan Bureau special. I got the coupons, baby. I got the coupons. What that's thinking. I got the coupons.
But hey, Saturday, Red Kingdom is gonna be lit. So make sure y'all tune in Saturday now.
Hey, will there be toasting of champagne at the?
I don't want to.
Maybe. We're gonna definitely have something for the haters.
Greg, I want to ask you this. Do you live in the city of Kansas City?
Yes, I do.
Missouri side or Kansas side?
Are you far from downtown from where they have the parade? If so, I want to ask you, are you going to the parade?
I'm going to see if I can get off work. Yes.
Just call out sick. Just call out sick.
I'm going to see.
Hold on.
Just say you got to take your kid to the hospital.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
just say you got to. Just say you got to take your son to get a Kansas City Chiefs tattoo.
Yeah, that's hey.
No.
We can do that.
Play it smart. Tell them you got corona, they'll believe it.
Yeah, well, that is still out.
But then he's gonna have to be. Jay, he says that he's gonna have to be out for like freaking 7 days.
Like 3. Yeah,
that's okay.
A lot more to
yeah, 3 days.
Party, baby. Hey, he's been 7 days of pure party, baby. It's okay. No, Missouri or Kansas? What side are you on?
I am on the Missouri side.
He's not in Kansas no more, Jay. That's what it is.
No Kansas. No Kansas.
No, I got a buddy of mine.
The parade is gonna be lit too. Parade gonna be lit.
Greg is so lit that we can say anything. He get hyped. Ready? We finish this. Hey, yo, Greg, how about them?
Chiefs. Let's go. 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4.
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready for Patrick to slam like 5 Bud Lights like he did last time.
I want to see Patrick on a flotation device somewhere, tossing the trophy from one flotation device to the other flotation device. I expect to see him fully intoxicated and Travis Kelce, putting him on in a fireman's carry around the block.
They're definitely gonna be lit. They were extra lit the first time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same this time.
I expect Travis Kelce to have a sign on the boat that says "F all you other mayors," talking that shit, right? And then you got Tootie with the sign saying "F you Giants," just everybody going all in. You got Matt Nagy saying, "Hey yo, Chicago, I did it."
He did it. Oh yeah, Mike. That Nagy got his first ring, Mike. So
really upset about that, and I feel sorry for Mike.
Yeah. He had, I know he's mad about that.
He secretly wants to be positive, but he's really mad about it.
I know it.
Man, hey, listen, I would be too, though, man. Come on. I would be too, man. That's like if Jason Garrett would have gotten a ring when he went to the Giants over there. I would have been thoroughly pissed. But
can we say last night though that the real MVP of that game is the Kansas City Chiefs trainer for whatever the hell he did to Patrick Mahomes' ankle at halftime? Because that
he ain't no MVP. He even stabbing him with freaking steroids. How's he MVP?
Whatever they did to his ankle, he did not look like he was hurting on that last 28-yard run.
Now listen, when you got an injury and they pump you with steroids, you're making the injury worse because you don't feel it. What is going to be the overall? Like, how long can Patrick Mahomes last in the league if his ankle's all geeked up with steroids and it's probably deteriorating?
Jay, I told you that on the afternoon show a couple weeks ago that Patrick Mahomes is now spraying that ankle 3 separate times. He's at the point now where I think he's so immune to the pain in that ankle that he's just used to playing through it.
Hey, that guy, he might be immune to the pain, but he ain't fucking immortal. He ain't. He's still a mortal human being, and that tissue and that ligaments, they still rotting away when you put that steroid in there and you ain't fully healed. Okay.
Well, he wasn't gonna feel it one way or another, right? All right. He got shot with something in his ankle. He didn't feel it. Guess what? He won the damn Super Bowl. He's definitely not feeling it right now. He's popping bottles all day, all night. He don't give a damn.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is do you think that, when you're taking these kinds of injuries and we are pumping them with steroids, does it shorten their career is what I'm getting at? Like, what I'm saying? Like over the lifespan of it, is it going to have an adverse effect over the long haul of his career?
Really, look at it. If they really did that, Jay, if they really did that, good thing it was in the Super Bowl, good thing it was at halftime because he won and now he gets a full 7 months of rest. Right, so if you want to in between, go to the doctor, check out your ankle. If you need a little minor surgery or whatever like that, quickly do it. And I think Patrick Mahomes will come out next year totally fine. Realistically, I don't think, I'm just being me. I don't think they pumped steroids into his ankle. They did do something. The THC is legal in NFL now, so they could have gave him something. So I don't want to say it's steroids, but even if they did give him steroids, I don't think it's going to affect anything in the long run.
No.
Just because, they did it at the very good time at the end of the season with the 7-month rest right now going in.
Yeah, true. And Patrick's pain tolerance is like 10,000 because remember he had the turf toe in 2020 and was still able to get the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. And then now he had this high ankle sprain. During.
I get that. I get the
games.
plasticity. I get the plasticity of being young and your body's ability to regenerate and recover. What I'm saying though is, as he gets older, is it going to affect him being able to do a 20-year career, or is it going to shorten him down to a 13, 14-year career? Over the long haul. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know that so 39 years old and going would be what's the name out there from Green Bay, Rodgers. And then we also know that how long, the GOAT himself played. And he played like that because he avoided a lot of those types of injuries. His body was able to go that long. But when you're having injuries like what he's having, is that going to shorten that career where he can't go nearly as long as what the GOAT or what Rodgers is doing? Or maybe it doesn't. I'm just asking that question.
I don't think it necessarily shortens his career. I think it forces him to adjust as a quarterback the longer he stays in the league. He's not going to be able to do the whole running around in the pocket thing that he's known for now. He's not going to be able to tuck and pull that 28-yard run like he had last night late in the fourth quarter. He's going to be more of the guy that if pressure's coming, you just throw the ball away and you don't take the chances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's the type of quarterback where he wouldn't have to use his legs to make plays happen. He's still got that arm strength and the arm length, the arm length of throwing the football at a very good pace. I think that would be fine with him. Plus,
I believe the theory of you have so many jumps in your body, and every time you take an injury where you got to operate or you got to cut into the body or do something to the body, I think you shorten the number of jumps that you have left.
Here's the thing, though, Jay. That's why I don't think it'll shorten his career, because it's been more of little injuries. It ain't like he's had the big injury where he's had to have surgery.
Well, if you're sitting there shooting up, and of course we don't know. We're just supposedly thinking. But if they are putting a steroid type of substance in that to get him to do that, that is a different situation, because you are doing damage without knowing you're doing damage because you don't feel the damage being done. So to say that's not necessarily true. Again, maybe he's not getting steroids. Maybe he just is that freaking nature. And I really hope that is the case.
If they gave him anything, it was probably pain medicine. It was a Toradol shot, not steroids.
Cortisone.
Yeah, cortisone.
THC. They gave him some. They gave him some
what I'm saying is, if it's a pain blocker, whether it be a steroid or a Toradol or whatever the case may be, if you're not feeling the pain, but the pain tells you that there's something going on in your body, that's why you have pain, because the pain tells you, hey, I don't need to keep going any further because I'm damaging something. But if you don't feel that pain and you're continuously damaging it further, there are going to be complications down the road. You might not know about it then because, like you said, your adrenaline's pumping.
But the thing is, you don't know.
Medication's pumping, so you don't know the damage that maybe you're doing. And maybe he's not doing any damage at all. I'm just saying, I just wonder about the possibility of it. That's all.
I don't think last night his injury was really that serious, because when you look at the replay, it's not like his ankle. It's not like his ankle got landed on. It's not like he got tripped really hard or anything like that. No, he ran the ball. The defensive man grabbed him by the legs and stuff, and he probably stepped it on it too wrong or something like that. And it, like Chris said, he tweaked it a little bit, and that's why he had to quickly go out and see the trainer probably quickly tape up his ankle a little bit tighter and stuff like that. But once he went into halftime, he was able to walk it off around the locker room, do his little warm-up jogs or anything like that to make it feel a little bit better. I don't think he tweaked it out that much for him to be considered as, okay, let's inject something into his ankle and get back out there.
AP, the reason that pass went 25 yards, if you looked, he was slipping. While he went to throw the ball, he lost his footing.
That shit,
that field was god awful.
Yeah, that field was terrible.
That field was god awful, and
I don't know.
Arizona needs to not do another Super Bowl if the field is going to be like that,
or at least change out the field.
Hold on, Greg. Hold on. Don't go saying that because then you're gonna go around saying, "Well, guess what? Kansas City was the last one to win a Super Bowl in Arizona." I don't want to hear that shit. All right, just change the field. That's all you gotta say. Just change the field.
Yeah, I mean, change the field.
Hey, look, the price of restarting that field or putting a new field in there is not going to be as big of an expense as what that team would care about. I mean, that's nothing people put in there. Because most of those fields are on trays anyway. I mean, just put a new field in there. Not a big deal, and move on. But they definitely got to get away from the field they used this year, though.
Well, the thing is that I'm not a Cardinals fan. Do they always have trouble like that with Arizona's field? What was the difference between a normal Arizona?
Yeah, they actually made a complaint last go around with it.
It's real grass.
Yeah,
it's because it's real grass.
Yeah. The Chiefs' first game, we had like 2 injuries from.
Yeah, it's real grass. They take
it
outside to water it. They take it outside to maintain it, and then they push it in the stadium like the day before the game.
Yeah, that's why if they would have played on turf grass yesterday, it would have been a lot better. But because it's real grass, it's really hard to play in.
But they're wanting all the stadiums to go real grass. That's what the players are wanting.
Realistically, though, if you look around the NFL, there's only like 3 or 4 stadiums that actually have natural grass now. Everybody's going to that field turf or whatever now because it's more money up front, but it's less cost to maintain because you got to replace it less and less.
Yeah, I know that. What I'm saying is you got a lot of these players are wanting them to switch back to everybody having grass fields because that's why they're getting so many knee injuries. It's because of the turf.
Well, clearly you saw in Arizona that grass field they were using clearly wasn't the best.
Terrible. It's terrible.
But I thought it was interesting that the Eagles had to change out spikes more often than Kansas City was doing.
Because I don't think Kansas City cares.
And that's only because Chiefs have already played there.
Yeah, I don't think Kansas City cared either. It's like we're gonna just deal with the conditions that we have.
Right. And the turf that they use now is better than that concrete, artificial turf that they used to use.
Yeah, the Astrodome had that type of turf in it, and it was horrible. It was horrible.
Mm.
Can I just say one thing though about the end of that game too? You have to give Jerick McKinnon some credit too. Because Philadelphia did everything they could to let Jerick McKinnon score, and he's like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go down at the 2, and we're going to just screw you guys over.
Yep, that's it.
You're a daylight and a dollar show. We covered it earlier, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be late every once in a while.
I had to pick my son up from the airport. Hey, I had to pick my son up from the airport, Jay. He was at the Super Bowl last night.
Hey. He could have taken an Uber. I don't want to hear it.
He's 9.
What? Look, if a millennial could operate a telephone and an app, he'll be all right. Stop babying him, Justin. God.
Jay, just because you was raised up differently, don't tell him how to raise his kids. Damn it.
Man, let me tell you something. I was walking home at the age of 9. Major
up a hill and through the snow.
Across thoroughfares, pouring rain. Jay has no give a fucks.
Yeah, you do.
Kids these days. These kids nowadays, they're like soft as a box of Charmin.
Say that to their face, Jay. I bet you'll get beat up by.
Hey, listen, I guarantee you this. I bet you that guy's son's not gonna play in Houston high school football because we're murderers down there in high school football.
You know what? I'm done with you. Let's just, you know what, Greg, Chris, Stat Guy. Let's just get all of our kids together and attack Jay.
That won't be hard to do. I got 2 bad knees. No, man, you can blow up. I got a dog that has to pick me up when I fall over. What's that going to do for you? Pick on the elderly? That's what you tell them to do? That's how you raise your kids, to pick on the elderly? Well, what the hell?
Exactly. That's exactly what I do. I want my kids to be raised as when they see an old man with a cane, trip the cane and make the guy fall. That's the way I want it.
Them kids will be on you like a spider monkey, Jay.
Right.
Hey, listen, that's okay, man. Hey, listen, all I know is I can still outrun Frankie's fat ass.
I don't think so. I really don't think.
I saw you on the dance floor. I saw you on the dance floor. I know I can at least.
Jay, you see me running on the dance floor? Jay, you see me running on the dance floor?
Get together 40-yard dash, Jay and Frankie. I got my money on Frankie.
Thank you. Jay,
you know what? That's fine. The money line says different. Because you know what? The Rocks got cooking.
Do you know what, Jay? You just make yourself look dumb. You literally just said, first of all, you're a 50-year-old man, and you just said you got two bad knees, and you're trying to outrace me.
I'm just saying I can outrun
a trying to outrace me. Come on. I could be fat. What are you?
You had muscular tone, but listen, I haven't seen you. You are a very large individual.
I'm really not that large. If anything, you're fatter than me. All right, don't go saying I'm fat when you think you're over there running with a 6-pack, sir. You don't got no fucking 6-pack.
Hey, listen, I got a 1-pack, and it's a hell of a 1-pack.
You don't even got a 1-pack, Jay. You got a freaking fat pack.
He's got a keg.
Hey, but it's a well-paid for a keg, sir. Let me tell you.
Jay, you're the type of person that takes off your socks and asks Mel to rub your cankles.
Hey, you better be quiet, or I'll go Kansas City Chiefs on you, Philadelphia.
I'm not Philadelphia.
Yeah, you are.
Nah, bro, I'm New England. Get it right.
On that note, I'm gonna take me and my 1-pack. We're gonna sign off.
All right, man. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. You did well.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it, man. Great show as always.
Next year, though. I hope you lose for the next 20 years.
Greg, what's your baseball team? Kansas City Royals?
Yeah, Royals. Yeah.
All right, great. I'll be sure to tune in and make fun of you then.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a lot to make fun of.
Hey, who's your basketball team?
I don't really have a basketball team. As long as Braun doesn't win, then I'm good. So it doesn't matter.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, as long as Braun don't win, it's good. We're good.
You know what? People around the world saying the same thing about Patrick Mahomes, but it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. They're gonna deal with it for the next decade.
Oh my God, Greg, get the hell out of here! Get out of here, Greg.
Hey,
all right,
as long as he stays healthy, that's absolutely correct. Though he's young. I mean, damn. What a time to be alive.
Jay, I want consistency from you, sir. All right, you're over there sitting there.
Every other day,
saying he could do it. He's young, but then freaking 10 minutes ago, you're like, but what?
I'm saying he's young now. I just don't think he's going to be a 20-year guy. I think maybe 13, 14 years. That's consistent because he's still young.
13, 14 years is still young?
No, Jesus Christ. It's like talking to a fucking pile of Play-Doh. Listen, I'm just saying.
Why did you bring Play-Doh into this, Jay? What did Play-Doh ever do to you?
Play-Doh I can mold. Well, you're right. Why did I bring that into it? You know what? The whole point is, Frankie, I'm trying to say he's young right now. He's got 14 years. I think if he makes it 14 years, I think that's. But I'm saying I'm not. You know what, Frankie? Fuck you, man. You know what I'm saying though.
I do know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. I just love it when I do that because I get my job. It makes my job a lot easier.
Oh, I thought you said because your second role is a fat blurb. Okay. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I love you, Frankie. It's all good, man.
Listen. When you build your house in Houston, I'm coming down there and we're having that freaking race.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. Hey, listen. And the great thing about it is I got a long street we can run on. We can mark off 40 yards and we can camcord that shit.
All right. Yeah, we could do it. And I bet you won't even make it all the way down.
Can ASAP do a live stream of it?
We'll live stream this.
Oh, no.
We're not live streaming.
We're going to live stream it.
The hell with you guys? You guys want to see? You got to get your ass to Houston, too.
If we have to live stream it, we have to come down to Houston.
No, because then you guys are gonna end up putting this shit on YouTube or something.
If you get 1 million views, you get paid.
Hey, that's true, Frankie. You would get paid nicely, bro. Come on.
All right,
And
so,
we'll hype
all right,
this
we'll
shit
do
out.
it.
Hey, Frankie,
Hey,
we'll
you
hype
get some
the
of that-
shit out of it too.
You get some of that $300 a post.
We'll do it. We'll do it. And I'll make sure we get 1 million views by Trippin' J while we're running.
One of the YouTube followers that my son watches is 17 years old and he's getting paid $42,000 a day on YouTube.
It'd be like on Talladega Nights when they're running at the end of the race down the racetrack. It'd be Jay and Frankie.
Hey, all I know is Frankie. Hey, Frankie's playing the part of the Frenchman because I'm all American like Will Ferrell. So go ahead with that character as far as you can.
Okay, I guess I'm not American. I guess I'm French.
Well, technically you're not. Technically you're Puerto Rican.
I am American. It don't matter. I was born in America.
You're Puerto Rican. We haven't annexed you yet.
My nationality is Puerto Rican, yes, but I'm an American being born in
Were you born,
sir.
Frankie? Were you born in America?
Yes, I was born in New York City, Brooklyn, New York.
Fine. Okay, well, then you're American.
I just said that, Jay, you idiot.
I know. I just like seeing you get upset about it.
You reminded me of all these Eagle fans from last night.
Man,
Listen,
so let me ask you guys a question. So if Bieniemy does leave, where do you think he winds up? You think Washington's where he winds?
I don't think he does leave because isn't there only really 2 job openings right now, and it looks like one is getting filled with the Eagles' offensive coordinator going to Indy, and Arizona is interviewing Jonathan Gannon, Philly's defensive coordinator, tomorrow.
No, there's been news by Adam Schefter that he's getting interviewed with Washington, not for a head coaching spot though. Most likely offensive coordinator.
I don't think he leaves unless it's a head coaching job. What's the point?
I mean, realistically, let's be real. Hold on.
A lateral move, but yeah.
Hold on. Let's be real, Dustin. The man has had many previous head coaching job opportunities, head coaching interviews, but when did he get it? He's not.
He never got one. That's why I said if I'm Bieniemy, I don't leave because what's the point? He could be the same. He could be in the same situation as Josh McDaniels when McDaniels was in New England. You just sit and ride behind Andy Reid as long as you want to do it, and then eventually you decide you want to leave, or you just wait until Andy Reid retires and probably hands the job to you.
They're never going to hand him the job. All right, they're not going to do it. You want to know why? And I'm sorry to say this live on stream, but we all know it. It's because he's an African American coach. Realistically, if the man is really, we all know how good he is. He should have been head coach somewhere before, or actually right now at this very moment, he should be a head coach. He had interviews in the past. He's had interviews this year, and yet he has still got the job that he wanted. I mean, why continue to stay with Kansas City? Yes, I understand you're winning there. You're a winning offensive coordinator. You can get paid more from doing what you're doing in Washington if they offer you more money. Yeah, I understand you're not a head coach, but yet you're not going to get a head coaching job because you should know and realize right now you're an African American coach, and the NFL does not like to hire African American coaches. We've all seen it. Brian Flores had an interview. He had an interview with Arizona.
Well, that's not true. Brian Flores turned down the Arizona.
Yeah, Brian Flores turned down the interview when he found out that the Cardinals are moving DeAndre Hopkins. He pulled his name out.
And D'Amico Ryans just got hired. So what are we talking about?
Where did he get hired, Jay? Houston?
He got hired in Houston.
And who did Houston just hire? Before that, Lovie Smith, right? Because of why? Yeah. Because of the African American scandal from Brian Flores. So Houston was on the back against the wall, had no choice but to do it because they didn't want to get in trouble like the Giants. So they're going to continue to do that.
But by the way, they still brought in D'Amico Ryans. They still gave him the job. So they still hired an African American coach. I mean, I agreed. Are they hiring as prevalently maybe as they should? No, but they are making streams. And when Brian Flores turns down a job, I mean, what do you want the NFL to do? He turned it down. Not everything is African American, but I understand.
The problem with Bieniemy, though, is whenever he interviews for a head coaching job, they've all said the same thing. He doesn't interview very well. For whatever reason, when he goes through that head coaching interview process, his interview process is not very well, and that's a lot of the reason, too, why he's been passed up on these head coaching jobs. He shows on the field that he has the ability to be a head coach. But for whatever reason, when he gets to the interview process, he doesn't do a great job, and he gets passed up by other candidates because they do a better job in the interview process.
That's ridiculous. They don't like the way he interviews. with his interview process, but yet the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars freaking want to hire Urban Myers a couple years ago. Ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think you saw that experiment didn't go well, and I don't think we're going to see too much of that going forward.
Pretty sure if they would have hired Bellamy, that it would have been better.
Oh, absolutely. Well, of course.
Well, it would have been better, but I'm pretty sure Jacksonville's happy to have Doug Peterson, though.
Yeah, I would think so. Consider that massive turnaround. Yeah, I definitely think you're right. It is what it is.
Fuck Doug Peterson.
Hey, has anybody seen, not to switch topics, I know we're talking football, but real quick, man, damn. How the hell does Alabama shoot up to number 1 in the college polls in basketball?
Oh, my God.
No, I don't understand. I mean, like, their record is less than what Houston's putting up. And Purdue just lost, so I understand why Purdue took over. But I just don't know how Alabama leapfrogs them. That doesn't make no sense to me.
Have they played I haven't looked, but have they played a better strength of schedule than what Houston has?
I think so, yeah.
That would probably be the reason I would think. But like I said, I haven't looked to know if that's the truth or not.
Jay breathing like that just makes me laugh because I know what he's about to say.
No, but I mean, hey, and it's okay. Look, if you want to put them ranked number 1, I mean, look, the true number 1 team is going to get ranked at when March Madness starts. So I'm not really too upset. Houston's going to do what they do, right? They've only lost 2 games. They're going to do what they do. I'm not worried about it. But it is kind of a slap in the face, but it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good in the hood, man. Hey, by the way, does anybody know that guy? When does March Madness? What week of March is that? Is that the second week of March?
Conference tournaments start, depending on the conference. Conference tournaments technically start next week.
Okay.
The Ivy League starts next week, and then there's a couple other conference tournaments that start next week, like some of the smaller leagues, because the Ivy League has like that rule where they can't have competitions for like 3 weeks in the spring, and it's usually the end of February through the middle of March. But regular March Madness starts the week of March 7th.
Okay.
And then the NCAA tournament will start the week after that, so March 14th that week.
Hey, Jay, what's Alabama's record compared to Houston's?
23-3, and I think we're 23-2.
Oh, so one more loss. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, they have one more loss. Yeah, they have one more loss, than we do. Anthony Price, I'm only bringing up Houston because they were ranked number 2, and Alabama hot league.
No, you're bringing up Houston because it's a Texas team. Don't lie. That's
he
all
always does that. He always does that. Just like how he did it a little while ago about freaking. Oh well, those 2 quarterbacks are from Houston. They're from Texas natives.
They are from Texas. Matter of fact, Jalen Hurts. Hey, Jalen Hurts went to high school 10 minutes away from my house. Literally 10 minutes away from my house. Jalen Hurts went to high school at Channelview, and Channelview is a rival of North Shore. By the way, North Shore is ranked number 9 in the nation.
Nobody asked, though. Did anybody ask?
No.
Did
But there was some very inaccuracy reported earlier by a certain podcaster that might be in this panel, and I just want to correct those inaccuracies. No big deal. And don't identify yourself because you look horrible. But it could be. But it could be a D. That sounds like douche. I don't know.
Stat guy. He said your stats are fake.
Wait, I wasn't even listening to what he said. What was he talking about?
No, I was just talking about where high school's ranked in the nation, and you had
okay. And what did I say? I corrected.
That's what I said. I said
I corrected myself, saying that school out of Cincinnati was ranked number 9 until they lost 2 games at the end of the year.
Leslie came out with a high voice. He got tight for a second. Like, don't be putting down my stat knowledge, bro.
I even corrected myself live on the air too. I even corrected myself.
He did. I'm giving him shit. He did. Stat guy, I'm sorry, but he worked out of a dick for putting shitty stats up.
I don't think a lot of the USFL and XFL games will be on the same day because XFL starts next Saturday and USFL don't start till April?
Yeah, they're both going to be the same day, though. They're both going to be Saturday and Sunday. You're going to have 2 games on Saturdays, 2 games on Sundays. The only time it's going to interfere is the week that the USFL starts is the week that the XFL playoffs start. Well, that first 2 weeks is going to be kind of the thing of how they're going to get all those games in 2 days.
I think the XFL is going to put a hurting on the USFL myself.
I think this will be the last year for the USFL because they were only on a 2-year agreement to begin with anyways.
I'm looking forward to that next Saturday. I'll be watching next Saturday.
Or you could essentially see the XFL and the USFL merge into one 16-team league and just be done with it.
True. Oh.
Because if both of these leagues are aimed to do the same thing, both of these leagues
very well, huh? You can't see that very well.
Both
but
of these,
North Shore came in at 10, and Chaminade. Some Florida school came in at number 9. They were 13-1, and North Shore was 15, and we were undefeated. Yeah, craziness. California and Florida, man, they do put up California. I said it before. California, Texas, and Florida. Man, those are your 3 major high school football team states.
But if the XFL and the USFL are aimed to do the same thing, they're both aimed to give players a second chance. They're both aimed to give these undrafted college free agents a chance to prove that they deserve to be in the NFL. If they're both aimed to do the same thing, why don't you just merge the 2 leagues into one? What's the point of having 2 separate leagues?
Because the XFL is extreme, the USFL is not.
I mean, you have players that were in the USFL last year that are now in the XFL, and there's a couple players that are going to be playing in both, like Jordan Tamau and Kyle Sloter are playing both in the XFL and the USFL this year.
Well, you got players that was in the USFL last year that's in the NFL right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like if you're going to have players bounce between both the XFL and the USFL, just make it one 16-team league.
Yeah,
you can.
I do like the fact that the USFL is playing at other stadiums and not just Alabama.
But it's still only 4 stadiums though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. I wish they would have had. I wish they would have had more on some on the West Coast, some on the East Coast. Somewhere. I wish they would have spread it out a little bit.
The USFL is not doing that anymore, Jay. There's like 2 teams playing in different stadiums, like the New Jersey Generals. They're playing in Detroit. Yep. You have some people playing. I think you do have 2.
Yeah, you have
in Canton. You
have New Jersey and Michigan and Detroit. You have Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and Canton. You have Birmingham and Houston and Birmingham, and then New Orleans and Memphis are in Memphis.
Yeah, so they're slowly progressing to playing in different states and stuff like that. Because I'm pretty sure they want to get their numbers up there. Because just like you said last year, me and Jay, mainly me, I was trying to get Jay into the USFL a lot, but I was all in on the USFL last year, and it was mind blowing to me when I found out that they only played in Alabama, and I told Jay about that, and me and Jay were just confused and pissed. Like, really?
Well, you look at the attendance though too. Like when the Birmingham Stallions played, they were getting 20 to 25,000 people at that game, but when anybody else played, they were lucky to get 4,000 people.
Yeah, because nobody gave a damn. They only cared about Birmingham.
Tickets were $10. I'm sorry, if I lived in the Alabama area, or if I lived within like 2 hours of Birmingham, you're telling me I can go to a football game for $10? I'm paying $40. I'm going to go to 4 football games that whole weekend.
Exactly.
Seats too.
Now, where are they playing at? I know, like when they go to Detroit and other places,
they're playing at
high school, college.
Nope, they're playing at Ford Field in Detroit.
Okay.
So they're going to basically block off the upper deck of Detroit, and they're going to sell, well, if they can sell 30,000 tickets, they will. So they're going to have 30,000 seats available at Ford Field. Canton, they're playing at the Hall of Fame Stadium, which is like 16 to 17,000. So, I mean, that really wouldn't be that hard to fill if you can fill it. And then Memphis, they're playing at the Liberty Bowl, which is where the Memphis Tigers play. And that's roughly around 42 to 44,000 there.
Okay. Now the XFL, what type of stadiums are they playing in?
So the Seattle Sea Dragons are playing at at CenturyLink Field where the Seahawks play.
Okay.
You have the Houston Roughnecks are playing at the University of Houston Stadium, TDCU Credit Union Stadium, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Arlington Renegades are playing in the Texas Rangers Old Baseball Stadium, Globe Life. San Antonio Brahmas are in the Alamo Dome. St. Louis Battlehawks are in that old dome that the Rams played in, the Trans World Dome, the Dome at America Center, whatever you want to call it now. DC Defenders are playing at Audi Stadium, which is where the DC United soccer team plays. And then the Orlando Guardians are playing at the University of Central Florida Stadium, that Camping World Stadium.
Orlando Guardians, formerly and rightfully known as the New York Guardians. I'm just saying that right now.
Yep.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I hate you for doing that.
And the Vegas Vipers are playing in a baseball stadium too, Cashman Field out in Vegas.
See, Vegas Vipers, formerly and also rightfully known as the Tampa Bay Vipers. Rock, thank you for switching that as well, you idiot.
There's a reason why they did it, though. The 3 teams that got switched had to do with attendance. They had the 3 lowest attendance.
Shut the hell up, Dustin. Shut up. Because the New York Generals, we had attendance, Guardians. We had attendance, you guys.
The New York Guardians averaged 14,000 people a game, which was the 3rd lowest attendance in the XFL.
Whatever, it's not the first lowest.
Yeah, the lowest was the LA Wildcats. They only averaged 7,000, so they got moved in favor of San Antonio.
Seattle, Dustin, didn't Seattle average close to like 25?
Yeah, so St. Louis led the attendance at 34,000, and then Seattle was second at like 28 or 29,000. Dallas was third around 25. Houston was around 24, and then the rest of them were all pretty close. DC was around 18 to 20,000. But you had LA, which was 7,000, so they got the boot because they didn't even care about football over there, just because there's so much going on at LA that time of year that nobody really cared about Spring League out there. Tampa Bay was averaging, I think, 10 or 11,000, so they had the 2nd lowest attendance, so they got the boot. And then New York was at 13, 14,000, so they had the 3rd lowest attendance.
And then
but let's not give Seattle. I'm sorry, Chris, but let's not give Seattle the boot because they're the ones that ruined our entire sports world in 2020, being the first national team around the world with the freaking COVID situation and ruining all of our sports life in 2020. But let's go ahead and keep the Seattle over there because, they don't start shit. Motherfuckers in Seattle. I swear to God, because Seattle.
If I remember correctly, didn't St. Louis sell the game ended up getting canceled because of COVID, but didn't they sell close to 60,000 tickets for that game?
They were at like 52, 53, yeah.
Wow, because of COVID. I wonder who started that shit. And
the funny thing is, if you look at that now, too, the first game of the XFL season, I don't know if it's in St. Louis or not, but when St. Louis goes to St. Louis for their first game, they already have 64,000 tickets sold for that first XFL game in St. Louis.
But that's because St. Louis was a big football town, no team.
Yeah,
that wasn't the Jazz that started there, sir. It was the XFL that started it because the XFL was playing at the very start of COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing Utah did was, which by the way, Nathaniel, let me correct you. Basketball starts in October, sir. XFL is in March and April. So learn your months on when something starts first.
Well, I think he's talking about the Rudy Gobert situation where.
Yeah, but it was a concession stand
which was after the
Seattle,
XFL.
Yeah,
XFL game that had it.
Which was after the XFL season.
No, it was during the XFL season because everything got shut down on like March 12th or March 10th. The Rudy Gobert situation happened February 27th. That happened the week after the XFL started. So everything started happening all at one time.
So who fucking started it, Dustin? The XFL and Seattle. What are you talking about? I know my stats too, just like you.
But yeah, but Jay, what you were saying about the USFL last year playing just in Birmingham, they did that.
Oh, that's right.
They did that mainly because they wanted to cut down on travel. They wanted to save on travel costs and everything else, just because the players were only making, I think, 40 or 45,000 for that USFL season. So they didn't want the players to have to pay out of pocket for all these travel expenses. Now they opened it up a little bit more, but they're still only in 4 markets. So now the next thing is, if the USFL continues beyond this year, do they expand it to the 8 markets and you let every team host a game? You let every team have their own venue? Do you keep it where it is now with 4 hubs and you just do 2 and 2? Or do you ultimately combine with the XFL and try to roll it that way? And I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. Because the XFL has done it right in terms of not necessarily the markets, because the XFL has gone to good markets, but they've also done it right in terms of the stadiums. They're not picking necessarily an NFL stadium to play at where you sell 25, 30,000 tickets, the stadium still looks half empty because it's a 65, 70,000 seat stadium. You're putting a lot of these XFL teams in soccer stadiums, a lot of these XFL teams in college stadiums. If you're selling 25, 30,000 tickets, at least it looks like the stadium is full because they're only holding 40,000.
correct me if I'm wrong, Stat Guy. It can also be because the USFL is not advertising as much as like the NFL, MLB, even the XFL. Now with The Rock or Dwayne Johnson. I mean, let me stop calling The Rock. Dwayne Johnson being in charge of it, he's actually advertising the XFL more on commercials and everything like that. It could be the same way with the USFL, right?
That is a big part of it. And I know a lot of people. What the heck was I listening to yesterday? I think I was listening to a USFL podcast yesterday because they had Dean Blandino on it and somebody else because Dean Blandino is the head of officiating for the USFL. Yeah. And he said the same thing, that it's not about the product that took people away from the USFL last year. It was the lack of advertising. They didn't do a good job of promoting the product. And if you're not doing a good job of promoting the product, you're not going to draw viewers in to watch it. The XFL, even before they shut down in 2020, they did a phenomenal job with their marketing. They did a phenomenal job of marketing what was to come in the XFL to attract viewers to watch their product. They've been marketing the XFL since last year, even before anything even started, just to get viewers to come back, and they continued to market it. USFL really is like, well, we're not going to market it. We're going to just tell people that our season starts April 28th on Fox. That's their form of marketing. They need to get into the whole spending some of your advertising money, spending some of your marketing money, and just attract viewers to watch it, because everybody knows when it comes to sports in the United States, football is always going to be king over any other sport. And if you have football on 9-10 months out of the year, people are going to watch it. No matter what kind of product it is, people are going to watch it. You just have to market it better to get the viewers to come into play.
Well, that's really what it is. Everything's about marketing, and usually USFL and XFL have not done, in my opinion, enough marketing. Really, honestly.
Well, the XFL has because they had a 2-hour special on ESPN where they revealed the team names, where they interviewed the head coaches of each of those teams after they revealed the team names. So they actually went out of their way and been like, "This is who's coming into our league. This is who's going to be our head coach."
And they also showed the new rules because they had rule changes in the XFL, which makes it look a little bit equal to the NFL.
Yeah, and unless you're a fan of the USFL like I am, and like Frankie is and whatnot, where you actually pay attention to the USFL, you actually have to do a lot of research to find out even who the head coaches are and who some of the players are that are going to be in the USFL. You don't have to do that with the XFL because they started marketing that right away and put an actual special on ESPN to get people involved with it.
Come on, Jay. The USFL literally just had Jeff Fisher on there. Like, come on.
Jeff Fisher just quit, too.
Exactly.
Wait, what is Jeff Fisher doing these days anyway? I know he's not coaching, is he?
Yeah, he was coaching the Michigan Panthers of the USFL last year, and he was actually still planning on coaching the Michigan Panthers this year, but he stepped away 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And I was taken over by the former Cowboys defensive coordinator,
Mike Nolan.
Or defense, my bad.
Yeah, Mike Nolan's the new coach of Michigan Panthers now.
Wow. Okay. Shit. What do y'all think about Arizona bringing in what's that guy they were bringing in? I think it's Gannon.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be taking over that job. What do you think about how he's going to do over there in Arizona, taking over for Cliff Kingsbury?
As long as they don't look at yesterday's tape as an audition film, he'll be pretty good.
I'll be real with you. I don't think Arizona's gonna do really that much. I mean, as Dustin said earlier, Arizona's looking to part ways with DeAndre Hopkins. You also have
I don't understand why you want to part ways with him. I mean,
because
he's on the final year of his contract this year. He's not going to re-sign with Arizona beyond this year, so why not try to at least get something for him?
Well, that's true. If he's already come out and said I didn't hear that. If he said he's not going to
Well, he hasn't come out and said that, but you can look at the direction that the Cardinals are going in. They have no idea if Kyler Murray's even going to play this year because of how late he tore his ACL, so you're already down Kyler Murray. You don't really have a defense. You don't really have a consistent running game outside of James Conner inside the 5-yard line. DeAndre Hopkins is 29 going on 30. He played in Houston the first 6 years of his career, and then he got traded to Arizona. He's going to want to go somewhere where he has a chance to make a Super Bowl, or at least go somewhere that puts him in a position to make the playoffs. He's not going to come back to Arizona.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, if they do that, they're freeing up about $30+ million in cap
space. $34 million in cap space.
So if I'm in Arizona, I'll do it.
Now here's just a fun idea to entertain. How about going to a team that already made the playoffs this year? What if they traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Giants?
They will not trade DeAndre Hopkins in the NFC.
Okay.
They will not. Because what does that benefit him if they trade him to the NFC? It makes it more difficult for Arizona to make the playoffs, and you help somebody else out.
I guarantee that they're going to trade DeAndre Hopkins. They're going to look at their schedule. They're going to wait to see who they play. Well, they already know who they're playing, but they're going to wait to see when they're playing them and what time they're playing them. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to trade DeAndre Hopkins to a team that they don't have to play this year.
Yep.
What about the Jets?
Shut up, Jay.
No, I'm asking.
No, I think I'm gonna look up their schedule right now.
They have Garrett Wilson, but hey, they have Breece Hall. What could he do over there? And by the way, speaking of the Jets, they just hired Todd Downing, which has ties to both Tannehill and Carr. And guess who's on the market? Carr.
Yep.
What would that look like if the Jets took a flyer on Carr, brought him in, and you got Hackett as your offensive coordinator? Why not try to bring in a Hopkins and give that to Carr as a weapon?
The one team that I would keep an eye on for DeAndre Hopkins is Jacksonville.
I mean, yeah, but they already have what's his face over there.
Christian Kirk, who also played with DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona.
Yeah.
Which is why Christian Kirk got the contract he got, because DeAndre Hopkins helped him get more targets, helped him get more yards, helped him get more red zone touchdowns. You can send a guy like
we already have Calvin. Really, would that not be like a log jam at the wide receiver?
No, you can give Arizona Zay Jones, you can give Arizona Marvin Jones III, and then your three receivers would be Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Christian Kirk.
I don't know, man. I really like that young receiving core they're building up. I don't know that you necessarily have to take that apart and bring in DeAndre. That's the only thing. I like that receiving core they have there, to be honest with you.
Well, Zay Jones
Ridley to the mix.
Zay Jones is a free agent after next year, so he's going to be wanting an extension. Marvin Jones is 33 going on 34. He's not getting any younger. You don't know what you're going to get out of Calvin Ridley because he hasn't played football in over a year. You don't know what kind of football shape he's in. So outside of Christian Kirk, you really can't trust what you have coming back long term. Even if you get DeAndre Hopkins for a year.
But how old is Hopkins, though?
He's 28 going on 29.
That's right. So he's 28, 29.
You can get him for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Pair him with Kirk, pair him with Lawrence, pair him with ETN. If they bring Evan Ingram back, all of a sudden that offense is a much better offense than what they were last year, and they weren't that bad offensively last year.
That's what I was saying. I mean, they were actually pretty damn good last year. So, yeah, Hopkins would make you a little younger, though. So, yeah.
Anthony Price says Hopkins is New England.
Man, he ain't going to no New England. Jesus
I don't
Christ,
think
that'd be a
so
horrible
either,
place.
because New England, don't they have Bill O'Brien as their offensive coordinator?
I don't mean shit.
Well, yeah, it kind of does. Because
It really doesn't. It really
He's not the one that ran DeAndre Hopkins out of town.
Yeah, look at you. Yeah, now you're quiet, right?
He was not the one that ran Bill O'Brien went downhill after they ran DeAndre Hopkins out of town.
Well, who ran him out of town? Because last time I heard, he was the GM and the damn.
The year that Bill O'Brien gave up his GM duties just to go back to a head coach was the year that DeAndre Hopkins was traded.
So you're saying the owner of the team then traded DeAndre Hopkins.
And whoever the owner brought in for the GM after Bill O'Brien gave up the GM duties is the one that traded away DeAndre Hopkins. Because Houston made the playoffs 4 straight years at one point with Bill O'Brien as the head coach. And that's when DeAndre Hopkins was pretty much putting himself on the map as arguably the best receiver in the NFL during those 4 years. And that was under Bill O'Brien and Bill O'Brien's system. So he's actually worked very well with DeAndre Hopkins before. So if New England is interested in DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not going to be shocked at all if he lands back in New England lands with New England to rejoin Bill O'Brien. Because Frankie, you could attest to this. Mac Jones is very comparable to Matt Schaub.
Yes.
And Matt Schaub and DeAndre Hopkins had a hell of a connection when DeAndre Hopkins was there. And both of them worked under Bill O'Brien, so I could easily see Hopkins landing with Bill O'Brien and be like, I had success with a quarterback very similar to Mac Jones. This is what we did to have success in Houston. This is what we should be doing here.
What do you think about
Jay just don't want to see good players go to New England, that's all.
What do you think about Rex?
Well, I don't
Rex
see
Ryan?
where careers going to die with Mac Jones, but okay.
What do you think about Rex Ryan interviewing for the Denver defensive coordinator job?
I mean, it's not terrible. I just didn't like the position that Rex Ryan was in when he was coaching for the Jets or the Bills. So it's not a terrible decision.
I mean, you're joining Sean Payton. Is that actually a bad decision?
I mean,
I think it'd be a good hire.
That's a good hire.
Rex Ryan really wasn't that bad when he was under the Jets. He made it back-to-back.
No.
Made it to the AFC Championship game. He really wasn't that bad. Buffalo Bills, he was bad.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills, he was bad, but I mean, at his point, look at who the damn quarterback was. Freaking EJ Manuel and those freaking quarterbacks who had no business being a starter in the NFL back then. He was thrown into such a shitty situation when he went to Buffalo.
Same thing with the Jets. I mean, he had Mark Sanchez. So I mean,
Yeah, and he made what? He made back-to-back AFC title games with Mark Sanchez, didn't he?
He made one, but I don't know if he made back-to-back.
No, they went back-to-back.
Sure he made back-to-back.
Yeah, he made the playoffs 3 straight years with the Jets, and he lost in back-to-back AFC Championship games with Mark Sanchez. One was to the Colts and one was to the Steelers.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the Steelers.
Chris over there with a smile on his face. Chris got a smile on his face like, yeah, we defeated Rex Ryan in the AFC Championship game. Yeah, we did.
Hey, well, just out of curiosity, what do you think?
It was no good because we lost in the Super Bowl that year.
And even in Buffalo, though, he was 8-8 his first year in Buffalo, and then he was 7-8 in his second year, and they fired him with 1 game left in the season. So it's not like he was doing terrible in Buffalo. He just didn't have anything to work with when he was there. Because look at the next year. They fire Rex Ryan, they hire Sean McDermott, they draft Josh Allen the next year, and look what happens. Who's to say that they wouldn't have drafted Josh Allen if Rex Ryan was still there in 2017?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I didn't know. Honestly,
what do you think about Steichen coming to the Colts? I didn't know that
Rex Ryan was before Sean McDermott.
What was that?
What did you say, Frankie?
No, I was just saying I didn't know that Rex Ryan was before Sean McDermott. I thought Rex Ryan was like before what's his name, Doug.
No, yeah, he came right after Doug Marrone, and then he literally was fired 15 games into 2016, and then the next offseason when they hired Sean McDermott. So yeah, Rex Ryan's pretty much set everything up for Sean McDermott. The only thing that he didn't have was a quarterback, and then they bring in Sean McDermott. They draft Josh Allen. A couple of years later, they trade for Stephon Diggs, obviously, but outside of that, Rex Ryan helped set everything up for Sean McDermott and helped put Buffalo in the position that Buffalo's in right now.
And what position is that? Regular season royalty?
Well, at least they're making the playoffs and not going 20 years between playoff appearances.
Damn. Yeah. He's talking about the Cowboys, Jay. That's messed up.
No, he's not talking about the Cowboys. Interesting, though. That's interesting. Look, hey, what do you think about Steichen coming over to the Colts, Chris? That's the last time I heard was they're planning on giving him the nod, man. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good hire. We'll see. We'll see if that's. I'm not going to believe it till he's signed, just because I know how the Colts are. But no, I think it's a good hire for him.
I mean, they've already told Jeff Saturday that they're not hiring him, so at least you can cross that off your worrisome list.
But, no, I think it's a good hire. Now we just got to see what direction they're going to decide to go in quarterback wise, and
do you think that Nick Sirianni had anything to do with it? Knowing that Nick Sirianni came from Indianapolis and came from that Frank Reich staff?
Oh no, he might have. I know Sirianni was mad at the Colts about firing Frank Reich, but if I remember, wasn't Steichen? I think Steichen was a quarterbacks coach for the Colts under Sirianni, wasn't he?
He might have been, yeah, because Sirianni was the offensive coordinator under Reich.
And I think Steichen was the quarterbacks coach, and I think he left and went with Sirianni to Philadelphia.
Yeah,
I think there's a little bit of familiarity.
Because I was wondering, because you really didn't hear Steichen's name mentioned too much with the Colts up until like this past week.
I saw a report last night. I don't know if it really true to it, but that that there was still an outside chance that Eric Bieniemy might get the job, but
I don't think Eric Bieniemy is going to get it.
I honestly don't think he wants it because they don't have a quarterback. And that's not a knock against the Colts. Chris, you know they don't have a quarterback right now. They haven't had a quarterback since Andrew Luck has been retired.
Why you guys always knocking Phillip Rivers?
Well, he was only there for 1 year is what I'm saying, though. They haven't had, a long-term solution at quarterback since Andrew Luck retired. It's pretty much been 1 year of gap fillers. You had Phillip Rivers for a year. You had Carson Wentz for a year. You had Matt Ryan for this past year. You had Jacoby Brissett for a year. They haven't had, that set quarterback for multiple years to build a system around. And I don't think Eric Bieniemy would want that job without a quarterback that he can count on for multiple years to build a system around him.
There's nothing wrong with Matt Ryan. I think he's a good quarterback. Chris, go ahead and keep him. He's good. You got him. Keep Matt Ryan.
Keep Matt Ryan until the score is 28-3. Then you take him out.
I would rather a Colts start. I'd rather a Colts start Sam Ehlinger all season than to bring Matt Ryan back.
Yeah, because that worked in New England.
that was one game. I mean, what Ryan wouldn't have done no better that game. I'd rather see what a young guy can do than bring back Ryan, which we already saw what he's going to do for a whole season.
Do you want them to take any of the free agent quarterbacks that are available, or you just rather have them?
Why you don't think the Colts will go all in and try and get Aaron Rodgers or something?
No. I think they go for maybe Derek Carr.
Would you say would you be okay with Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo or any of those guys?
I'd be all right with Carr or maybe Garoppolo.
I think they might go for one in the draft.
If you're going to get Baker Mayfield, I'd rather them go ahead and draft one of the young guys.
What about making a run for Geno Smith?
Oh no, he's going to be locked with the Seattle Seahawks after the year he had. They're going to lock him down.
Or what about Gardner Minshew?
Oh my God! Stop it, that guy. Now you're just embarrassing him. He said Gardner Minshew to the Colts. That's just an embarrassment. Look at Chris's face. He don't want that. He said Minshew with the Colts.
He did play well, though.
Well,
for that time period that he was with the Eagles. I mean, he didn't play bad subbing in for Hurts when he was.
I'm only saying this as a joke, but he wouldn't be the first Philadelphia quarterback to go to Indianapolis.
He didn't play bad when he was in Jacksonville either.
Steichen's not going to be the first Philadelphia coach to come to Indianapolis either.
That's true.
Jay, how do you say that about Minshew? He played against you guys and you guys demolished him. Don't try and be all nice to Gardner.
No, because we kicked the crap out of their defense. Still, Gardner did put up points, though.
But yeah, he had 4 touchdowns that game and threw for 350.
I think he just needs
the next Indianapolis Eagles.
He's not here, that coach that he can Oh yeah, he's definitely nowhere near better than Mac Jones. Come on, bro.
So fuck it. I don't care. Go wherever you want. Go. Fuck you, Mac Jones. I don't give a shit.
Chill. He's not McCorkle Jones.
That's what I'm saying. He's not Mac Jones, so he can go wherever. I don't give a fuck.
Chris, would you be okay with Colts trying to get Lamar Jackson?
You better shake your head no.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
You said you'd be fine with that?
Smoking.
Yeah.
There's one team I could see going after Lamar Jackson.
Shit, you put Lamar Jackson on the Eagles, they'd have been in the Super Bowl this year, just like they were with Hurts.
No, they would not. You're smoking herbs. No, they would not.
Like I said, Hurts did in the Super Bowl what Ravens have been waiting for Lamar Jackson to do, and he's never been able to do it.
If you put weapons like Lamar Jackson,
he 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, you did say that 2 weeks ago before the Super Bowl started.
Bro, I was saying from the jump, what we're seeing in Jalen Hurts all this year is what everybody has been wishing Lamar Jackson could do. What everyone is saying Lamar Jackson could potentially do.
Lamar Jackson like Philadelphia did Hurts, I think Jackson does it. Jackson had the weapons Hurts had.
Bro, but he had the weapons. No, but we gotta stop this.
He ain't had the quality team that Hurts was on with the Eagles.
He had the weapons. Lamar didn't use them.
Yeah, he had Hollywood Brown. He has Mark Andrews.
You're as good as AJ Brown.
He's not as good as AJ Brown, but he's better than Devontae Smith.
No, hold on. No, I'm not letting you do that because that's what everybody does. Y'all try to change the narrative. Y'all say he never had weapons.
Yeah, what I said was if you put Lamar Jackson on the Eagles and give him the exact same weapons as Jalen Hurts had, you'd have the same results.
No, they're not. And you know where they would be? You want to know where they would be? Probably winning the division and then getting bounced in the first round. Because Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball. Jalen Hurts got them not just by running, but by throwing dots. Yeah. Until Lamar Jackson can do that, he's not making the Super Bowl. We gotta stop with this fake narrative, bro. He's had help. He has had guys on his team before.
He ain't near as much help as Hurts had this year. Let's see Hurts on that Baltimore team and see how many fucking touchdowns he throws. You can't.
I promise you now, he'll definitely throw more than Lamar.
I don't think so.
It's true.
He'll throw more than Lamar.
I wouldn't have said that before the Super Bowl, but I would say that now.
I think Hurts will do good.
Look what he's been doing with Dallas Goedert. I love Dallas Goedert. Look what he's been doing with Dallas Goedert. You're telling me he's not doing that same thing with Mark Andrews?
He'd be putting up better numbers with Mark Andrews than Dallas.
That's one player. Look at the rest of the team the Eagles have is what I'm saying.
Well, Chris, if Jalen Hurts was to end up with Baltimore, I think he will make those wide receivers be known players. You know what I'm saying? Like how Tom Brady does. I think he will go there and he will, players that you wouldn't even expect. You'll be like,
I mean, you see the way that Hurts was placing the balls in the Super Bowl? Yeah. How well he was how he put that one on AJ Brown when there was two Chiefs defenders over him.
But Jay, you ready to hear the sad part about it all? Are you ready to hear the sad part about it all? Jalen Hurts has been doing this since he came in the league. That's the sad part about this.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has been doing this since he came in the league. And no one wanted to give him credit. Nobody wanted to give him credit.
Hey, I gave him credit, and then I got shunned down saying that everybody was telling me Lamar Jackson was better than freaking Hurts was the same as Hurts. That's what they told me.
I will say this. Lamar Jackson has that potential. He does. But we're getting to the point of his career where potential doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
At some point, your potential needs to turn into reality. And he is this. And remember this. People kill Trevor Lawrence. How long has Trevor Lawrence been in the league? Can someone refresh my memory?
2 years.
How many years?
2.
Bro, people been killing Sunshine because he's, quote, the same player he was in college.
Hey, Pride. Hold on. Hey, Pride. With Lamar Jackson, I've been saying that he has RB1 legs with a QB2 arm.
Not even. He's a QB3. My guy
goes helicopters. QB3 if you want. I don't care. I mean, damn.
Like, come on, bro. Like, honestly, bro. Like, listen, it's okay to recognize, okay, when he, as a playmaker, he's a stud. But when it comes to putting him in the pocket, my guy is horrible. It's okay.
Just put it like this. Just put it like this. Mac Jones got a better arm than Lamar Jackson.
If we're gonna bro, look, man. And it comes to throwing the ball, he's not that good. And the sad part about it is, you want to know my honest feelings about this? Lamar's never gonna get any better. Because
Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson cost himself over $100 million this year.
I don't think he did that.
He's not going to get his $250 million contract that he thought he was going to get. He cost himself a $200 million contract based on how he played this year. How many games did he give away the first half of the season?
Guarantee. No, don't get it twisted. Lamar wants that guarantee. They didn't want to give him that full guarantee money like he wanted.
And don't get it twisted, Dustin. I get what you're saying because I to an extent I agree with you, but because of him being young, someone will take a chance on him.
Do you think after the year he just had, will Lamar Jackson be an injury-prone quarterback now?
It's been, 3 years in a row he's missed at least 5 games? If he's not injury-prone now, we just got to throw it out the window. Because we were calling Matthew Stafford injury-prone after 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. And you can say right now, too, like what you were just saying about Lamar Jackson, you can say the same thing about Justin Fields in Chicago.
What do you mean?
As in, Justin Fields in Chicago has RB1 legs and
I disagree with you there.
QB2, QB3 passing because he can't pass.
I disagree with you there. I disagree.
He can pass, but he led the NFL in passes off target this year. 41.3% of his passes were off target.
Question, Dustin? Let me ask you a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Outside of Tom Brady, outside of Aaron Rodgers, outside of Big Ben before he left, seasoned veterans, you name me another youngster that could have 4 guys blocking for him, and as soon as he snaps the ball, they all forget he's on the same team. And then 8 guys from the other opposing team bum rushing him. You tell me another quarterback who will make a pinpoint dime. Thank you. That's it. The conversation starts in there. I'm not because there's been a few games where they've been able to block him. There's been a couple. In those few games, Justin Fields was throwing double D dots. I'm talking about bosoms out to here. Bosoms out to here. When the man
Can't see it. All I see is a white circle. Where are the bosoms out to?
Well, far enough for you to know, rounder than the circle. But
there you
when he has time to actually, there's times he can't even snap the ball.
I'm gonna say this, Pride. I know I'm gonna get crucified for it, so I'm gonna say it now, and then everybody on this panel can crucify me for it.
Go ahead.
So you can all take your swing and take your shot on it. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I have not been sold on Justin Fields since day one. I have never been sold on an Ohio State quarterback since they've been drafted. Name one Ohio State quarterback that has had success since they have been drafted. The last Ohio State quarterback to have any success was Craig Krenzel.
And you remind me a lot of my cousin, of my cousin-in-law, because he's got that same stance except with Alabama quarterbacks. He's got that same feeling except for Alabama quarterbacks.
But if you look at Ohio State, though, Troy Smith, Braxton Miller, Cardale Jones, I'm missing another one. Dwayne Haskins. All of those guys had such good careers at Ohio State. They get to the NFL and all of them either change positions or they become busts. Because at Ohio State, they have the best talent at every single position on that football field. They are using that talent to their advantage, and they have an offense that's designed around everybody else's talent. They go to the NFL, they don't have that same kind of talent at these positions. And that's why there hasn't been any Ohio State quarterbacks that have panned out. There just hasn't been.
But here's my
thing. All the way down the list.
But here's my thing. Here's my rebuttal to that. Because I understand what you're saying, right? But here's my rebuttal to that. Of all the guys you listed, you name me one of them that has looked at and all this volcanic, all this wildness and all the garbage roster and the coach not wanting him but kind of wanting him and all that stuff in the middle of that vortex. You name me another quarterback who could have not only handled it, went with it in stride, and had some kind of, I'm not going to say team success because Chicago's trash, but some type of individual success. He's showing you glimpses and glimmers. He's showing you enough. When Carter came, when he came in the league, everyone was like, okay, LOL. Dwayne Haskins had one good game, which was his debut, and then after that, it was just, why did we even draft him? Like most of the guys are like that, where Justin Fields says head and shoulder above the rest is like, if you look back, you want to look back at those teams. You name which one of them, think about it, a lot of them went to a solid situation.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is in a dog water situation. He's making the best of it, and he's showing you something.
I'm not even sold on CJ Stroud.
Damn, that's crazy.
I think CJ Stroud is the fourth or fifth best quarterback in this draft class. The only reason why he's ranked as high as he's ranked is because of the talent that he has around him. I don't think CJ Stroud's going to pan out either.
Damn, that's crazy. That's brave. Let me ask you a question. I'm scared. Because hold on, real quick. Let me ask him a question. If you, depending on how you answer this, I might side with you, Dustin. Is my guy, my quarterback, Stetson Bennett, is he better than CJ Stroud?
I believe he is.
All right, I'm with him. Ohio State quarterback's trash.
And honestly,
I'm with him.
Honestly, the top three quarterbacks, in my opinion, in this draft class: Bryce Young, number 1.
Okay.
Max Duggar, number 2. And Stetson Bennett, number 3.
Where you got Richardson at?
I have him 6th or 7th. I think Richardson needs to go back to school for at least another year.
God damn.
And I have Hendon Hooker number 4, and if Hendon Hooker did not get hurt, I'd probably put Hendon Hooker in the top 3.
Not over Stetson Bennett, so settle down.
No, not over Stetson Bennett, but I would probably drop Duggar out and put Hendon Hooker in there and move Stetson Bennett up.
Oh my God,
I have CJ Stroud as the 5th best quarterback in this class. The only reason why he has the numbers he has is because of the talent around him. Same thing with when Justin Fields was in college. You look at the talent that Max Duggar has compared to the other people. Max Duggar put up just as good as numbers as Bryce Young, just as good as numbers as CJ Stroud, and he has half the talent that they have on offense.
Wow.
And Max Duggar put a lot of that team on his back.
And Max Duggar showed that not only does he have heart, but that guy will be willing to give you 100% every single game and will be willing to put his body on the line for his team.
And you saw that against the Kansas State game.
I'm with you with Bryce Young. I do like Doug. I do think he's very underrated. I don't know, man. You're losing me with this whole anti-CJ Stroud movement. I don't know, man. I feel like
it's just because of the history of Ohio State quarterbacks. If one of these Ohio State quarterbacks can come into the NFL and duplicate what they have done in college, then my narrative will change. But we've seen it now for the last decade plus with all these highly rated Ohio State quarterbacks. They do not pan out in the NFL. And most of them are either out of the league or are changing positions 4 or 5 years after they get drafted.
Respectfully, though, you could say that.
Oh God, not Levis. Levis is horrible.
Oh no, I don't want to say he's horrible. I'm not going to be hard on him, but I will say this: Will Levis is. I'm not going to say he's Zach Wilson. I don't think he'll be that bad. I don't think.
I'm not saying he's Zach Wilson, but
in Pride, I don't even know how much you watch the FCS. Do you watch the FCS at all?
Occasionally.
I think Lindsey Scott's better than CJ Stroud.
I haven't watched him, but a lot of people. I'm not even going to lie to you. There's this weird underground movement for Lindsey Scott.
Lindsey Scott was the quarterback at Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
He had a 71% completion percentage this year. Threw for 4,700 yards, 61 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Also ran for 1,300 yards with 15 more touchdowns.
And the crazy thing is, of those 8 interceptions, I think it's like 3? I think it's like 3 or 4 of them were good balls. But
6 of his 8 interceptions were either on tipped passes,
or
drops by his receivers that fell into another guy's hands.
Yep.
Only 2 of his interceptions were on him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he has what, maybe 2 or 3% the talent that CJ Stroud has, 2 or 3% the talent that all these other guys have at these high FBS schools. I would put Lindsey Scott ahead of CJ Stroud.
I hope CJ Stroud just comes and just like tears the league up. And when he wins his MVP award as a rookie, I want him to be like, "Hey, yo, Dustin, lick my nuts."
I hope he does, and I will give him his credit when he does.
I hope the Minnesota Vikings draft him.
Dude, it's just crazy to me. Like, it's just very insane to me. Like, CJ Stroud. This is just me, but I like CJ. He showed me a lot of stuff that not a lot of other young quarterbacks. His composure, him in the pocket. There's few guys in college. Matter of fact, even put in the NFL, very few guys would stay in that pocket and get clapped. Knows he's gonna get clapped, not care, and still deliver a very beautiful ball. I don't know, man. I don't get the hatred. I don't get it. I really don't.
I gotta say one thing, and then I gotta hop off as well. And this is going back to the whole Justin Fields talk. Comparing 2 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson has made the playoffs at season after season. And I get it. Justin Fields has been able to run the football and be able to score points. I get that. But one's made the playoffs year after year.
Okay, well, guess what? Your argument is invalid because the fucking Bears traded away Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, Robert Quinn, Eddie Goldman, Akeem Hicks, and everybody on defense that made an impact the last 5 years.
So?
What the hell did the Bears have on fucking defense to help Justin Fields? They were losing games 38-35, 42-40, 38-31. Justin Fields scoring 30 points a game should not ever lose a fucking football game.
God damn!
I'm not even sold on Justin Fields. But when you're scoring 35 to 40 points a game for 6 weeks, there's no fucking reason at all you should be 0-6. Ever. Under any circumstances.
God damn!
He said, "You time out, Nathan. Go to bed."
Yo! But here's my thing with that whole thing, though, because... Actually, matter of fact, Nate, go ahead, finish up your point. I want you to finish up your point.
Actually, it was just almost done. I'm just a few words shy.
My thing is, like, Dustin, I understand what you're saying, but they had to trade those guys. They had to. It was a good idea, just horrible execution. Because they should have traded those guys and got some, legitimate offensive weapons.
I agree that they had to trade some of them, but they could have re-signed Roquan Smith. They could have re-signed Robert Quinn.
Didn't they re-sign Roquan and trade?
No, they traded him to Baltimore, and Baltimore just gave him a 5-year, $100 million extension.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, man, those Lamar things are tight. You can pay Roquan, but you can't pay Lamar? Yeah, let him be healthy, you fucks.
But like you lose Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman, Robert Quinn, and Roquan Smith. Those 5 guys combined had 47 sacks in 2020 and 2021.
I mean,
You know how many sacks the Bears had as a team this year?
Wasn't Khalil Mack injured? Question mark?
Yeah, he still had 8.5 sacks in 10 games.
Goofy. Can only play 10 games? Lols.
But he still had 8.5 sacks though. The
But
Bears had nobody on their. The Bears had one player on their team this year that had 5 sacks, and they had 21 sacks in the NFL, which is ranked 30th out of 32 teams. There's a reason why the Bears' defense was so terrible. It's because they had nobody that could pressure the quarterback. Because everybody that could, they traded away, and it's not like they traded them away for help. They traded them away for draft capital. 90% of the draft capital they got were 4th rounders or later that might not even pan out in the NFL anyways.
See, that right there is what blew my mind.
You're trading away Roquan Smith, a guy who's been in the top 2 in tackles every single year since he's been in the NFL. And what did you trade him for? A 3rd rounder. You're trying to tell me that you couldn't have got somebody from Baltimore in return with a 3rd rounder for Roquan Smith?
Dustin's hot right now.
Like Robert Quinn, you traded Robert Quinn, a guy who set the Chicago Bears single-season sack record with 18.5 sacks in 2021. He had 6 sacks in 7 games with the Bears this year. You traded him to Philadelphia for a 5th rounder. You're trying to tell me you couldn't have gotten somebody from Philadelphia that could have helped on defense?
His Minnesota Vikings fan is coming out right now. You can tell he's a Viking fan.
He's
like, I don't like the Bears, obviously, because they're a rival of the Vikings. But the Bears are just a stupidly run organization for how they've handled that entire organization. For how they've handled that defense. For how they've done everything in that organization the last 4 years.
Yo, Dustin, you a Chicago fan on the low, aren't you?
I'm a Chicago fan for pretty much everything else.
Yo,
Dustin's over there like, yo,
how Mike would be talking, bro.
I'm a Chicago fan for everything else but football.
What happened, Frankie?
Dustin's over there saying Chicago's praying to fucking get Brian Urlacher out of retirement.
God damn.
Well, like, you can see my point though on Justin Fields though. Like, yes, he's putting up great numbers, yes. And the wins haven't translated, and that's the one thing that I'm not going to hold against Justin Fields. Your offense was scoring over 35 points a game for 6 consecutive weeks. And yet you went 0-6 because your defense is dog shit.
But here's the thing. Let's say they just go 3-3. Because they won what, 3 games?
They won 3 games. They go 3-3.
3 games, right? So let's say they go 3-3. They won 3 games. That's 6. We're not having this conversation anymore.
No, because at least they're showing significant signs of improvement.
Again, so now there's no excuse for you not to be bought in on Justin Fields.
I have to see him more consistent though. That 6-game stretch that I talked about was amazing. But the other 10 games that he played in were not that amazing.
Oh my god. So he goes on 6 weeks where he basically averages 30 points, right? It's crazy, right? So next year, let's have him go 8 weeks doing that. Let's have him go 30, right? Matter of fact, next year if he does not lead the Bears to score 35 points a game the entire season, he's trash.
Here's my rebuttal to that, Pride.
I'm listening.
6 weeks of where he was scoring 35 points a game. He had 1,700 yards passing in those 6 weeks. He had almost 900 yards rushing in those 6 weeks. The other 9 games that he played, he had barely 1,000 yards passing.
I'm glad you said that.
And 200, 300 yards rushing. I'm not asking him to put up 30 points a game. I'm asking him to be consistent. I don't need to see.
I'm so glad you said that.
I don't need him to see like 6 games at 30, 35 points and then 10 games where he's averaging like 10 to 12 points.
So
16 games scoring 25 to 26 points a game.
If Mike was here, he would know. Wasn't there like 3 or 4 weeks right before that explosion where the ball was literally always out of his hands?
What do you mean?
Wasn't it like 3 weeks where they led the league in rushing attempts? Not by Justin Fields.
No, that was during when they were scoring the 30 points.
No, it wasn't. Because the first 3-4 weeks, everyone was saying they're gonna trade him because they weren't using him. Dude was just out there. I'm not here for that slander. I ain't here for that slander. I'm tattooing his name on my face tomorrow. I'm not here for that slander, bro. I'm mad for that slander. Because right before he hit that historic pace of them basically averaging 30, right before that, in the beginning of the season, he wasn't doing dick. And it's not because he was trash. It's not because he was horrible. It's not because he didn't have. It's because for some unknown reason, they were not playing through Justin Fields. They were treating him closer to Cooper Rush, respectfully, Jay, than they were a potential franchise quarterback. They were using him more. I can't even say Gardner Minshew, because at least when Gardner Minshew came in, they trusted him to throw the ball. They trusted him to make plays. So I can't even say Gardner Minshew.
So if you look at Justin Fields, first game of the season, Justin Fields was 8 of 19 passing for 121 yards.
What other franchise quarterbacks going for 19 attempts?
But this was just his trend. In the next game, 7 of 11. Next game, 8 of 17. Here's that 6-week stretch that you were talking about where they took the ball out of his hands. 11 of 22.
No. I'm not talking about that stretch. I'm talking about before. The first 3 games that you just mentioned.
The first 3 games that the time that you're talking about when they were rushing for all those yards was during the 6-game stretch where he was passing it too. Because the Bears were averaging 212 yards passing and 286 yards rushing over that 6-game stretch.
No, what I'm saying is the play calling was more favored to the rushing side. And it
was more favored to the rushing side because they started to use more option reads.
No. I'm talking about before the first 3 games of the season I'm talking about. Those first 3 games. He didn't even throw the ball 20 times a game.
No, yeah.
So how is that his fault?
That wasn't his.
You can't get those 3 games and clip it into the backside too and be like, oh yeah, look how bad he was. Bro, they're not giving him the opportunity.
Yeah, those 3 games I'm not going to blame him for, but as the season goes on though, like 11 of 22, 14 of 37, 13 of 31, 17 of 33. Even when he was passing it, he was still barely hovering around 50%. You're not going to win consistently if you're not completing over 50% of your passes. You're just not. And I get that the offensive line played a big role in that.
Apparently not, because you're just blaming Justin Fields.
But even when they even said it, even when he did put a pass on, like even when he had time to throw, 41% of his passes were off target. You can't expect your receivers to catch everything that's off target, especially if they don't have a chance to catch it. I get that his receiving core was terrible, but he still has to put it close to him.
So 41% was off target, right?
Yeah.
41% was off target. By how much are we talking, though?
2 to 3 yards. As in, when they consider off target, it means uncatchable for the receivers.
See, that doesn't even make any sense. Now we're just reaching.
No, that's what uncatchable means. Off target is an uncatchable pass, which is 2 to 3 yards away from a receiver. Out of 120 dropbacks, where he had at least 3 seconds to pass, and the NFL averages between 2.8 and 3.2 seconds to pass. Out of 120 dropbacks, when he had at least 3 seconds to pass, he completed 41 passes. That is 36%. That's not on the offensive line. That is on him just not being accurate.
Okay, sure. Because I'm pretty sure in that, too, if he throws the ball and it gets batted away, that goes into that percentage, too.
No, that doesn't count. No, it's passes that actually get to the receiver, that are in the vicinity of the receiver. If it's over 2 to 3 yards away from the receiver, it's considered off target. Out of 120 passes that he had 3 seconds to throw, which is basically the NFL average, he completed, like I said, 41 of those passes, which is around 34.6%. That's not going to get it done long term. I don't care how many yards you're rushing for as a quarterback. You need to at least complete 60% of your passes. You have to. And his completion percentage was worse this year than it was as a rookie. He completed 52% of his passes as a rookie.
This year than he did last year.
He what?
He lost more this year than he did last year.
Yeah, he lost more games this year, but his completion percentage as a rookie was 56.7%.
In terms of offense, he's lost more.
Are you talking like players wise or?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying though, he had better completion percentage and he was more consistent as a rookie, and he had better weapons on offense this year than he did as a rookie.
I don't know about that one, Skip, but
Darnell Mooney had 1,000 yards receiving his rookie year. Granted, Darnell Mooney got hurt this year, but Darnell Mooney still had a
No. Leave that out. We're not gonna take that into consideration.
Okay. Allen Robinson was there his rookie year, and Allen Robinson had a career worst year. Justin Fields' rookie year.
Fam.
And he still had a higher completion
percentage.
Wasn't
he like crippled like half the year?
No. Allen Robinson was just complete trash that year with Chicago. He played 14 games and had 360 yards receiving. Allen Robinson was complete trash. Look what he did with the Rams this year. Absolutely nothing again.
So it's almost as if you're trying to blame Justin Fields when, in all actuality, Allen Robinson has just been mid his entire career except for that 1 year in Jacksonville.
He had, like I'm saying, though, he had more weapons this year on offense. And his completion percentage was worse than what it was as a rookie. A lot of that does have to go to the offensive line, and I will give you that, but that's also on Justin Fields. He had more receivers to throw to this year. He had a more consistent tight end to throw to this year. He had 3 reliable running backs that he could check it down to and do screen passes with.
Bro, they've been injured. What are we doing here, bro?
Not all year.
Why are we still talking about Justin
For a
Fields?
majority of the year. He can't have any continuity with anybody because the instant he gets a 5-yard gain, they go down and they're out. What continuity can he have with Darnell Mooney who's getting injured every other time out? Their running backs was literally playing hot potato with injuries. What are we doing here? We got to take everything. If we're not going to take everything into account, at this point, we just can't talk about Justin Fields. If you want to say some of it is his fault, okay, I'm good with that. Yes, some needs to take it. I will have no problem doing that. But when your rebuttal is, bro, the best options he had was Allen Robinson, who's been washed before I was a thought, and Darnell Mooney, the man who gets more injured than Keenan Allen. What is Justin Fields supposed to do? Because he needs time to be the super duper star where he can elevate everybody else. He's not there yet. People think he can get there. He's not there yet. Right now, he's gonna need someone to pick. He's gonna need someone else to pick the slack. And the people y'all depend on for him to pick up the slack are like just constantly get hurt every other week for no reason whatsoever.
All I can say is the Bears, I don't think fully believe in Justin Fields either because Ryan Poles has already made it clear that he's going to be working out quarterbacks for the draft.
Well, I mean, if I'm Justin Fields, I sit down with them, I ask them why. And if they say anything about a competition, well, he's gonna have to make a decision. He's gonna have to make a decision whether or not he's gonna go. Either he's gonna be like, nope, I'm gonna compete through, and it is what it is, or he's gonna have to go elsewhere. Whatever he does is gonna be whatever he does. I've said this consistently. If you're a GM, you should not be swapping out quarterbacks every year or every 2 years. That's the dumbest thing.
I can understand Ryan Poles' position though, because Justin Fields wasn't Ryan Poles' guy. It was Ryan Pace's draft pick. And you see it all the time when a team hires a new GM. A good portion of the time, that new GM wants to draft
unless they're already an established talent.
Yeah, exactly. And Justin Fields isn't established yet. That's why I can see Poles' point of view. Like, maybe I want Bryce Young. Maybe I want to draft Bryce Young and mold my franchise around Bryce Young because this is my guy. This is my chance to draft a franchise quarterback. This is my chance to build the offense around him because we have the most money of anybody to spend this free agency.
So let me ask you something. You think they trade Justin Fields?
I do.
And where do you think he goes? See, that's the problem.
CFL.
No, there's a lot of teams that
CFL.
there's a lot of teams that could take him, but I'm trying to think of the perfect situation for him because I don't think the Bears would do him dirty and trade him to like a shitty organization.
He's gonna go to the Houston Renegades.
But here's the thing. But
honestly, what Frankie just said, I could see him getting traded to Houston.
And that's what I'm saying. In a shitty organization, they're gonna have to if they're gonna want to get like. Because I think. Listen, this is me. If you're Chicago, I'm trading him. I'm sending him to Houston. I'm getting Brandon Cooks and I'm getting a couple picks.
Yep. You trade him to Houston. You can probably get Brandon Cooks plus the number 2 pick in the draft, so then you can be picking number 1 and number 2.
I don't know if Houston will do that. I don't know if Houston will do that. If they would, then if I'm the Bears, I'm pulling the trigger because we can have 1 and 2.
Or even at that, I think Houston has 2 first-round picks. So you trade Justin Fields for Brandon Cooks plus Houston's second first-round pick, which is I think about 18. So then you're picking number 1. You can take Bryce Young if that's what you want, And then when you come back to number 18, you can go offensive line or trade the number 18 pick for a different pick and try to get somebody else.
But that's the thing. If I'm Chicago, I don't think I do.
Brandon Cooks.
You miss Brandon Cooks?
I really do. Man, he got hurt real early in the Super Bowl. If he was there, bro,
we would have cooked him, bro. Helmet to helmet didn't want to call it.
Like, he got injured real early.
But now, if I'm Chicago, this is just me. I don't do that trade unless I sit down with Justin Fields and he gives me any inclination he wants to leave. Like, I'm sitting down with him and I'm gonna go because obviously they're gonna shop around. So if they sit down and say, "Yo, Justin, we want to see how you're gonna thrive under some pressure. We're gonna have a quarterback battle for you." If he goes, "I'm out," then don't even look at the free agent market. Don't even waste your time unless you want to put a Band-Aid on the situation. Go get Derek Carr. Because the Raiders they're gonna have to cut him. Because he said, "I'm not going into the Saints."
Yeah.
But however that plays out, I'm not trading him unless he gives me an inkling. If he tells me he's willing to fight for the position, I'm not going to trade him. For me personally, if trading Justin Fields, that's a last resort.
I think it's way too early to even talk about Justin being traded. I mean, he hasn't had a real opportunity with Chicago yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think the Bears should trade him, but I'm not going to be surprised if they do, just because Ryan Poles wants to draft his guy.
I mean, which honestly, if there's really no point for you to have two young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that's the only thing is, like, if Justin Fields gets traded, it's not going to be because of his performance. It's not going to be because the organization doesn't believe in him, I don't think. I think it's going to be the sole purpose that you bring in a new head coach, you bring in a new GM, they want their guy.
Right.
And Ryan Poles, knowing that the Bears have the number one pick for the first time that they've ever had the number one pick, if Ryan Poles has a chance to get C.J. Stroud or if he has a chance to get Bryce Young, this chance may never come to him again as a GM. So you know he's going to think long and hard about what to do at that quarterback position. Even if that means moving on from Justin Fields in favor of C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, if that's who Ryan Poles wants to be his guy, I'm not going to be shocked at all to see him pull the trigger at that number one spot for a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because it's a chance he might never get again.
Yep. Frankie, do you want to say something?
He got upset and left.
I think he had to I heard something in the background, so I don't know if he got interrupted.
No, I don't got much to say. I'm just gonna say, it was a great Super Bowl game. Yeah, it was a great Super Bowl game yesterday. And that's all, catches on Unscripted tomorrow night at 7 p.m. But other than that, man, I'm glad football season is finally done. Get ready for some XFL. Daytona 500 on Sunday. Don't forget it's on Fox. Yeah, baby. Baseball.
Everybody's excited for baseball. Dustin, stat guy, man. Final thoughts, brother.
Kind of in line with Frankie on that. Got the Daytona 500 starting. Daytona 500 is on Sunday. You have the XFL starting Saturday going into Sunday. You have college baseball starting Thursday. Pitchers and catchers report to spring on Thursday. Position players report to spring next Monday. First spring games are next Saturday. We're kind of getting into that part of the season where you have 4 to 5 sports overlapping each other at one time. So there'll be plenty of sports for everybody to watch if you're one of those people that likes to watch multiple sports at once.
And this is the best time for us podcasters.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, we're about to get in that sweet spot again for sports. No doubt about it. As we've already wrapped up the NFL, like Dustin and Frankie have said, but there's different sports getting ready to come into the mix. Lots more football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I mean, you name it. We're in the sweet spot. So continue to check us out here on Afternoon Blitz, and check Frankie and myself. And when Dustin decides that he wants to come on an Unscripted, 7 p.m. on Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Thursday, and then 1 o'clock Eastern on Saturday for Unscripted. Catch us on Unscripted Guys on Twitter, all one word. Until next time, it's your boys saying Gonzo, Pride, Stat Guy, Frankie, and myself, man. We want to wish you guys happy Monday.
Nathan, Greg, Mike.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Dadgum, boy, I tell you what, I'm glad you said that. Hey, Greg, again, Super Bowl champ Greg, man. Oh, man. Maybe my Cowboys will get there eventually. I don't think so.
All you got to do, Jay, is put in Madden. You can get them there every year.
Yeah,
hey,
man. That's what I keep telling myself. And Frankie's going to figure that out now with the Patriots. Now they're going to be losing for.
You can trade Dak Prescott for Tom Brady. And you can roll to the Super Bowl every year in Madden, Jay.
Chill. Dak Prescott already made it to the Super Bowl.
He did.